are all here. There is nothing like La Liga. Fantastic finish. Yamal and Mbappe seem to be on a different planet.
Carson rocket forward to Omaha.
Yep. Taking his 30 bombs. Triple A.
Talk about star power.
Maybe a September call-up.
From the home of the world champions, La Liga. Follow all 380 matches in English or Spanish on ESPN Plus.
Gavin Cross,
Jerome from Birmingham, previously from the All Time Bomb Show.
Chris is up next,
and
from
that's the
South
end.
Carolina.
But you're a bold-faced liar. You gonna get on TV yesterday?
That's all
and say I quit this show. I ain't quitting nothing. I go where I want to do what I want to do. You can quit taking my calls, but you can never make me quit, Paul.
I'm sorry, Chris. I do apologize. It was wishful thinking you would quit.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, weekdays at 3 Eastern on the ESPN app and on the SEC network.
How are you? My name's Scott Van Pelt, host of SV Pod, along with my partner in crime, Stanford Steve. What do we talk about mostly on the podcast, Steve?
Sports.
Some.
Parenting.
I feel like that comes up a lot. I feel like most recently I've needed some help because I feel like my shortcomings there are evident. It's life stuff, relatable content.
It's fun.
It's just two bald-headed goons just talking about nonsense a lot in a crowded podcast space. There's that one.
We're here.
Here we are. How are you? My name's Scott Van Pelt, host of SV Pod, along with my partner in crime, Stanford Steve. What do we talk about mostly on the podcast, Steve?
Sports.
Some.
Parenting.
I feel like that comes up a lot. I feel like most recently I've needed some help because I feel like my shortcomings there are evident. It's life stuff, relatable content.
It's fun.
It's just two bald-headed goons just talking about nonsense a lot in a crowded podcast space. There's that one.
We're here.
Here we are.
Wichita's new sports leader, ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM, KKGQ, Newton. This is the Shane Dennis Show on the new ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. Happy noontime. Shane Dennis Show, like the man said. Jack Johnson alongside, helping out, producing, contributing, telling jokes. We'll hear from him here a little bit. Episode 1280 here on a Tuesday. We've got a couple of different things, new-ish things to bring into the fold today. Tell you about that as the show goes. We got a couple of interviews, one each hour. A texter not wasting any time at all. You're going to try to get tickets to Billy Idol. Yeah, he's going to be at the Orpheum September the 21st. So I got about a month to figure that out, don't I? Thank you, texter. 316-666-2285. Good segue. If you want to get to me, if you want to get to Pat Strathman, he mans the Pulse from 2 to 4. He is the head of the snake here at the station. We see the texts. If you want us to respond to them, if you want to be a part of the show, if you got questions, you got comments, whether they're about sports or Billy Idol, we don't care. We welcome all comers, especially on the text line. 316-666-2285. If you're not on topic, then we probably won't address it. But if it's about over-the-hill rock and roll people, then you'll probably get me to bite. So just like that texter did 1 minute into the show. But that's the text line, and that's the idea, 666-2285. So let us have it. And then once I spell out what I'm going to talk about, then you can hop in at your leisure. Questions, comments, and whatnot. Hotline, I'll give away some lottery tickets today at some point. And I will, at some point at the end of a segment, ask for your phone call to try to win lottery tickets. That number is 316-669-4996. Now, not only do we give away stuff on the hotline, but obviously we have interviews there, and we'll take your calls. If you want to talk, you want to ask a question, all the stuff that you do on the text line, unless you would rather just talk, you're old school, you don't like to text, although fewer and fewer of those people are still around. But we got a hotline. We got it open for you, 669-4996. You can stream us. Take us with you wherever you go on your phone with our ESPN Wichita app, ESPNWichita.com. Listen live and get the very latest on what you may have missed with the podcast button. You can listen to anything that we ever said on these airwaves at ESPNWichita.com by clicking on the podcast segment or a section of that page. Same with the app. You look around, you can find the podcast button there and listen to past segments through your phone. Also 92.3 FM if you're tooling around Wichita in your car and you want to listen to us, we would appreciate that. You can tell your smart device to play ESPN Wichita 92.3. Our call letters are KKGQ. You might want to watch us. You can do that on 3 different social platforms. On our X page at ESPN Wichita, on our Facebook page, or our YouTube channel, whichever. Go to YouTube, search us, search ESPN Wichita, and then click subscribe. Doesn't cost you nothing. But you can watch the show. And you see on the ticker down at the bottom a schedule of events, segments, what we're going to talk about, who we're going to talk to, and in what order. And so that way, if you miss something, you'll know exactly what you missed when the podcast comes out later on. So check us out, live stream us on Twitter, Facebook, our YouTube channel. Check out our Instagram and also TikTok. We are on TikTok now too. So check us out and buddy up with us in every way you can on social. We're at our Equity Bank Park studio. It is August 18th. It's the 230th day of the year, 135 days left in 2026. And it's going to be 101 degrees today in Wichita. Before we lay out the show for you and tell you what we're going to talk about and who we're going to talk to, Jack has what we call a moment of levity. Just going to basically tell us a joke. What you got, Jack?
The secret to the long marriage is that you go and take time at a restaurant together 2 times a week. Little candlelight dinner, soft music and dancing. She'll go on Tuesdays and I go on Fridays.
Mm-hmm. Today is August 18th. It's National Alaska Cruise Week. Jack, any desire to go on a cruise if you've never been?
I went years ago, Disney cruise. That probably when I was 6 years old. I don't really have a desire to go back. It's not really. I mean, if you go on Netflix now, there's like a documentary every single month on a cruise gone wrong, and there was the one that was. Remember, it like flipped over basically, and it was just sitting in. It was like close to shore.
Yeah, I do.
It was on
remember
his side,
that.
and the captain abandoned the ship.
I do.
Like
remember
people
that.
died on that, which I actually was kind of unfamiliar with. There was the Poop Cruise documentary, which is one of the more disgusting ones you'll watch. Basically what I'm trying to get at, I don't feel I'm missing out on anything, to be honest with you. I'd rather be on land and have the option to go out onto the water on a jet ski or a catamaran of some sorts.
Mhm.
But a cruise, man, if things go south and you're in the middle of the ocean, there's nothing you can do about it. You're just going to have to hope that everybody knows what they're doing. And I don't trust a lot of people in a moment of chaos.
So I guess you're not going to be a travel agent if you move on from the radio industry.
I don't think so.
Okay. National Fajita Day. There we go. Pinot Noir Day for those who celebrate. And Ice Cream Pie Day. Pretty good day to throw stuff down your gullet between ice cream pie, wine, and fajitas. Born Day, Meriwether Lewis. He of Lewis and Clark fame, lead explorer from that expedition. Let's see, Burley Grimes. I'll save you that one, Jack. The last major league pitcher to officially throw a spitball. Burley Grimes, born 1893. Robert Redford is 90. And Malcolm Jamal Warner, who passed away last year, actor remembered mostly as Theo Huxtable from The Cosby Show, he would have been 56 today. All right, here's what we're going to talk about. Get your texting fingers ready if any of these topics strike your fancy. College football is right around the corner, and the AP Top 25 came out. Let you know who is maybe a curious absent team or school. Big 12 teams in the top 25. And there are 13 teams this football season. There are 13 FBS teams that are playing exclusively other FBS teams. No FCS opponents on their schedule. There's only 13 of them. We'll tell you who they are coming up here in a little bit and how that has to relate to Kansas State, because we'll talk K-State football at 12:25 with Derek Young from K-State Online. So he'll join us at 12:25 and get his thoughts on the Colin Klein era and their ramp up to the September 5th game that they have against Nichols FCS school. So we'll talk K-State with Derek Young at 12:25. Top Golf Twitter question, part of that Denzel Washington movie tournament. So head on over to our Twitter page, vote, repost the next 4 movies that Denzel Washington stars in. That's up on X or Twitter at ESPN Wichita. So head on over and vote for us, will you? And then at 1 o'clock every Tuesday, it's Jordan's Juicy Takes, brought to you by Booth Creek Wagyu. We'll get his thoughts on the Chiefs-Rams preseason game and look ahead to the Buccaneer game for the Chiefs and his level of concern for Trey Smith, Mansour Delane back on the practice field in a normal capacity, get his thoughts on that and many other things, any takeaways that he had from underneath the surface from that Rams-Chiefs game. And then at 1:25, lots of good things from that first game of the Royals Athletics series. Plenty of things to feel good about, but one alarming thing that stuck out like a sore thumb. And if you watch that game, you know what I'm talking about. And we will address that at 1:25 and what to do about it. And then I'm old Jack Young at the end of the show. It's August 18th, so we'll celebrate some sports birthdays. Jack will play me a song. Pat will be here. We'll have a little crosstalk, yuck it up, have a little fun in a segment we call I'm Old Jack Young. And then we will serve up the Pulse on a silver platter for you at 2:02. And then Pat will take it from there. So that's what you got here on a Tuesday. We lead with college football. And the AP Top 25 came out yesterday, and I got to say and admit that I am among those not really enamored with or interested in a top 25 at this point in the season, which is to say before anybody's even snapped the ball. We just assume that Ohio State's going to be really good and Georgia's going to be really good and Indiana will be anywhere from somewhat good to really good because of Kurt Cignetti and on and on and on. And then inevitably in, maybe November, but it might not take that long. One of these teams from 16 on down to 25 will be out of the top 25, never be heard from again, and maybe more. But, it's something to, I guess, remind us that college football is coming, at least. The Big Ten has the top 2 teams in the preseason AP top 25. And this, as much as anything, I think we can all agree, gives fodder to Big Ten football fans to fight with SEC football fans. Ohio State got 40 first place votes. They come in at number 1. And Oregon, with 14 first place votes, comes in at number 2 in the preseason AP top 25. And then Georgia, Notre Dame, and Texas round out the top 5. Ohio State will try to become the first preseason number 1 in 9 years to finish the season on top of the rankings. Last year's preseason number 1 was Texas, and they finished 12th. So going wire to wire is not easy. For the first time since 2011, Clemson is unranked in the preseason poll. They got 112 votes, and by adding up the votes, that makes them 26. So they didn't miss it by much. And they have a pretty big game in week 1 in a full slate, loaded slate in week 1. But before that, it's week 0, of course. And in week 0, that would be August 29th, a light slate on the 29th, but a slate nonetheless, which is a week and a half away. How about that? About time. There are a couple of marquee games in week 0. Jack and I have mentioned those throughout the course of the summer, sprinkled in here and there. North Carolina and TCU from Ireland kicks off literally week 0. And other notables in week 0, there aren't many, but Vegas thinks that NC State and Virginia should be a good one. Our very own Jackson Schneider is going to be in Vegas, and he claims he's going to watch the UNLV Memphis game. That's at 9 o'clock that Saturday, the 29th on Fox. So UNLV Memphis, kind of a tier 2 game in any other week, but since it's week 0 and it's at 9 o'clock, probably have a lot of eyeballs on that thing. And then the following Thursday kicks off week 1 in earnest. And that's where the games, pretty much everybody lines it up then, including KU on Friday night against Long Island and K-State on Saturday night against Nichols. We'll talk more about them in a second. Miami plays Stanford on the heels of Stanford playing Hawaii in week 0. So the Cardinal, pretty much right out of the chute, going to be tested a couple of times. USC plays in week 0. They also play at home against Fresno State in week 1. More on Fresno State here in a minute. Some other notables in week 1, which would be Saturday, September 5th. And again, that's a little bit further down the line. North Texas goes to Indiana to open up the Hoosiers season in North Texas in the aftermath of losing their star quarterback that went to Oklahoma State, I believe it was. And again, there are a handful of really intriguing games in week 1. Boise State at Oregon in Eugene. That's 2:30 on Saturday, 2 Saturdays from now. Baylor Auburn in week 1 also. And Oklahoma State Tulsa, the battle for Oklahoma. If you're into that, Oklahoma State, an early 2-touchdown favorite in that one in week 1. And trying to find the Clemson game that I was telling you about a little bit earlier. They play LSU in the other Death Valley. They go to Baton Rouge and will take on Lane Kiffin's Tigers. So the Battle of the Tigers down in Baton Rouge at 6:30 on September 5th on ABC. Now, I told you that 13 teams do not play an FCS opponent this year. Of the 138 FBS teams, football bowl subdivision programs, only 9% won't play an opponent from the football championship subdivision. That's up 3 from the 10 who didn't play one last year. They are as follows. Fresno State, they take on USC in week 1. They scheduled Sacramento State. They play them on the 12th. They scheduled the Hornets, I think that's what they are, Sacramento State, prior to Sac State jumping from FCS to FBS. So technically, they're going to play all FBS teams. Also, Hawaii, our Rainbows, are not playing any FCS teams. They scheduled and beat Portland State last year. I think that was Hawaii's homecoming. They beat Portland State 23-3 in Honolulu. They are not playing any FCS teams this year. They do have Northwestern State on the schedule next year, so they'll jump back in and play one next year. Michigan and Michigan State, neither one will play an FCS team. Michigan last played an FCS team in 2010 when UMass was at that level, and they beat UMass 42-37 in a thriller in Ann Arbor. They were transitioning into FBS. UMass was at the time. So Michigan regularly does not play FCS schools. Michigan State played one last year. That was Youngstown State. Notre Dame, not too surprisingly. Well, they rarely schedule FCS opponents. 3 years ago, they played Tennessee State and beat them 56-3. And at the moment, they have no future FCS games on their schedule. Ohio State, Oklahoma, Penn State, Texas, and a future K-State opponent, Tulane, out of the American, has not scheduled an FCS school this year. They last played one 2 years ago when they beat Southeastern Louisiana 52-0 in New Orleans. The Green Wave are scheduled to play Nichols next year, and that's K-State's first team that they'll play this year. The other two, not to play an FCS school this year, UCLA and UNLV. UNLV hosted Idaho State in Las Vegas last year and barely beat them, 38-31. And also, I left out USC. USC has never played an FCS team in the history of their program. So USC is a permanent member of this list. The Trojans remain the only team in FBS to never play a lower division opponent since the division split in 1978. A little bit of trivia for you. Speaking of K-State, what does the Colin Klein era look like? And what was off last year in the 6-6 season for the Wildcats? They have Nichols coming up on September the 5th, and we'll talk to Derek Young about all things K-State when we return here on a Tuesday. It is 12/21.
You're listening to the Shane Dennis Show on ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
Wichita, your next favorite coffee stop is right here. It's been here, and it's Mocha's Coffee and Eatery. You're going to enjoy gourmet coffee if you're into that. If you're a morning person and you like coffee, Mocha's is certainly your place. But they also have fresh pastries, hearty breakfast, and savory lunches. It's lunchtime right now, so if you haven't figured out where to go, check out Mocha's, and you can do it all in a cozy, welcoming space made for your everyday moments or meeting with clients or potential clients or just hanging out with your friends. From morning fuel to midday bites, Mocha's fits right into your routine. 4 locations across Kansas, 3 here in Wichita, and 1 just down the road from me right now. Great coffee, great food, and it's never far away. Every fresh flavors and shared moment can be enjoyed at Mocha's.
What do people with blindness or low vision need to live to the fullest?
Went to voicemail twice, left a message.
Skill development, scientific breakthroughs, knowledge-based jobs, and the same opportunities as everyone else. When you give to Envision, whether it be your time, donations, or your engagement,
usually hits me right back,
you make it all possible. That's because at Envision, they don't focus on the disability. They value the ability. They choose not to envision a world without sight, but to envision a world where people who are blind or visually impaired are empowered to reach their full potential. Learn more at envisionus.com.
It's at least the right number, right? I didn't give you a bad number.
Owner of Farha Roofing. Kansas weather can change.
Thank you.
in an
This is him
instant.
now.
Hail,
Okay.
wind, and severe storms can leave your home vulnerable when you least expect it. That's where Farha Roofing comes in. Our trusted team provides professional inspections, quality workmanship, and guidance through the insurance claims process. If you think your
Got him.
roof may have
Great.
been damaged, don't wait. Protect your biggest investment with the company Kansas homeowners trust. Schedule your
Also,
inspection today with
I didn't know if
Farha
you were going to
Roofing.
bring. I'm sure you're going to talk
Farha
about the
Roofing.
offensive line. I'm
We
pretty
rise
sure
above the rest.
2 of those
Wichita's
3 are
home
listed
of
as
the
starters.
Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
ESPN Wichita.
Yeah, I'll
92.3
make it generic because I'm sure
FM.
he's aware of it, so he can fill in
Yeah,
the blank.
I just went to the R Lads depth chart.
Okay.
And Dak Prescott waltzes in for the Cowboys touchdown.
Dallas Cowboys football can be heard right here. Go Cowboys.
Wichita's 100,000-watt powerhouse. ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
Take a little time.
The drummer for Foreigner, born day. One of the original members of Foreigner, Dennis Elliott, born day today. It is 12:24. Shane and Jack with you here on a Tuesday. And with college football right around the corner, we jump on the hotline right now. I want to get the very latest on what we think the K-State Wildcats have up their sleeve in the Colin Klein era. And in order to talk about that, we go to the hotline, talk to Derek Young, good friend of the show. He is at kstateonline.com, at Derek Young, KSO on Twitter. Nichols coming up on September 5th, so a little bit extra time for the Cats to get ready for Nichols. Derek, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Hey, appreciate you having me. I'm good.
My pleasure. Before we talk about this year, I want to get your thoughts on last year and the 6-6 overall finish for the Cats, which started 2-4. What was off, and I'm using off in air quotes, about that team last year, because expectations were a little higher than that, it seemed like to me.
Yeah, expectations were kind of through the roof at the beginning of the year. A team that many of us thought had the talent. I probably still think they did have the talent to compete for a Big 12 championship, or at least get in there to Arlington and play Texas Tech. But obviously it didn't turn out that way. The results were far from that. They go 6-6. They decline a bull bit. I think there's a lot of signals and signs there that probably suggest that they didn't have the right guys in the locker room. I think there were some bad apples, so to speak. A lot of the things that didn't jive. I think he did have a head coach, maybe because, at least partially due to those bad apples, that was starting to get a little burnt out because of everything that goes into college athletics right now. And it was having an effect on his health. Some of that was clear during the season as well. So he retires after the year, and you end up with Colin Klein as a coach. So I think there was a lot of things that played into it. Obviously, when you underachieve so much, it's typically not just one thing, and it wasn't. I think, to be honest, I think it was poor scheduling too. They picked I think probably a problematic year to make that Ireland trip, and then you followed it up by playing, a service academy to no fault of your own. You have a Friday night game early in the season too. A lot of those things that typically are tricky to do, and they try to do them all at the same time.
That's not a bad point. There's probably never inside the season a good time to play a service academy, and Army obviously was problematic after a very tough game against North Dakota. So the Colin Klein era about to get underway, as it was going to be known that Chris Kleiman's going to shut her down. Was there ever really another plan B besides Colin Klein? And if they didn't get him, who do you think it might have been? Did you have a wish list made out?
I mean, my wish list was probably only Colin Klein as well. It was just too much of a connection and a relationship to really ignore, and someone that's really on a fast upward trajectory in their coaching career. And he didn't want it to turn into, a Brett Venables or a Brad Underwood situation where you just the stars never align or you miss your chance when you get it. So I don't think that there was another call. I don't think that there was another choice. If it were not to be Colin Klein, that's hard, right?
Yeah.
Like there was no other obvious choice connections that would suggest that, that they're the guy. I mean, Iowa State, when they lost Matt Campbell, ended up with the Washington State coach, Jimmy Rogers. If you don't get Colin Klein, there's probably a wide gap there between him and maybe the guy you do get. So they did it the right way, and we're fortunate that the Stars did align. I don't know if he says yes, but just the thought I had, because he is a Kansas native, is, if the Colin Klein thing were not to work out, do you give Willie Fritz a call? That's something that just crossed my mind.
Yeah.
And would he leave Houston? I don't know.
Talking to Derek Young, we're talking K-State. K-State Online is where you can find Derek's work. We'll talk more about that here in just a little bit. You talked about the schedule maybe aligning against K-State or making it tough for K-State in 2025. It doesn't look like there's any such problem in 2026. The first 3 are at home, and 5 of the first 6 are at home. That seems intentional, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I think they had some things break their way, obviously, with some of those contracts and the way they played out. You had a 2-for-1 with Tulane, so this has to be the home year.
Yeah.
Washington State, you've got a contract with them. You still have to play them again later, but you open up with that home in that series. And you kind of are fortunate, right? Because of what happened to Washington State, and this was after those contracts were signed. Washington State's not even a Power 4 opponent anymore, so you don't even play a Power 4 non-conference game because of what happened to Washington State and Oregon State as well when the Pac-12 fell apart, and some of that due to the Big 12 plucking them. So you do have that interesting thing. And then with the Big 12 schedule, it worked out, but obviously you get the schedule the league gives you.
Yeah.
And for K-State, it's nice to have, when after you go to Cincinnati, you come back with even 2 more home games, as you pointed out. But I think the biggest perk, bonus, whatever you want to call it, to the schedule is not having to play BYU, Utah, or Texas Tech.
Yeah, that's a good catch. Houston and KU, the first 2 in the month of October, and then there's the West Coast or the Desert Swing with Arizona State and Colorado, and then home away to end up the regular season. The Colin Klein era, Derek, this is the elephant in the room. We got to talk about this. What's the vibe you get around the program? You've been around them all summer, basically, and you got another couple of weeks until the season starts. Just the aura, the vibe, is there one? And can you describe it now that he's back in town?
Well, I would say in terms of the program and the culture, it's built on hard work. They're not going to take it easy or take their foot off the gas at any point. And, sometimes in the past under Chris Kleiman, and you've seen it across other programs, everyone has a different approach. Sometimes you want to keep you guys fresh. You don't dial it back. Not Colin Klein. I would say he's a lot more like Bill Snyder than any other coach that he's worked for, that he seems to be steering into that mantra a little bit more than the others. He even tells recruits when they come in on visits, like, this is going to be hard, but we want it to be hard, and you should want it to be hard, because that's how success is built, to kind of endure those hard times and to toughen up. It's toughness, it's physicality, it's competition. When he talks about like the new old school, which is, it might sound corny, but it's exactly what it is. He still has the modernization to the program and how things are supposed to be run and conducted in the year 2026, especially on the recruiting phase of it. But at its core, they're going to work you as hard as they possibly can as well and not soften things up. It's 100% foot on the accelerator all the time. So they embrace that. Now, maybe they're going to be a little banged up throughout fall camp because of it, because they're going to try to be that physical, hard work, tough team. And sometimes you got to have a little bit of popping in practice to build that philosophy and to build that culture. And so there will be some bumps and bruises along the way and probably some injuries, but they're not going to sacrifice anything. You're not going to sacrifice hard work, physicality, and dedication and work ethic, motor train, all that.
Yeah. Derek Young, my guest. So you kind of answered my next question a little bit, although not entirely. The style of play, the style of practices may have differed from Colin Klein's regime to Chris Kleiman before him. But what about a philosophical outlook? What kind of change is that from the former coach to now Colin Klein? Is there one?
Maybe not drastic. I think their schematics will look a little bit different on the defensive side of the ball. They're going to have different personnel groupings, formations. I think they ran a lot of 3-3-5 towards the end of the Chris Kleiman era. I think it'll be more of a four-man front under new defense coordinator Jordan Peterson, but there'll be multiple, and they'll try to be deceptive, and they'll try to, hide things a little bit more. A lot of disguises. I think so defensively, I think is probably where the biggest things will be different, because at one point, I mean, this was Colin Klein's playbook on offense. So I don't think, Colin Klein is night and day better, I think, play designer, concept driven, and an exceptional play caller than what Kansas State has had the last 2 years. I don't know that the nuts and bolts of the offensive operation really ever departed too far from the Colin Klein system.
Talking to Derek Young at Derek Young KSO for all things K-State, kstateonline.com for more. For those of us on the outside, and certainly those of us down here in the Wichita area, when it comes to Avery Johnson, sure seems like to a lot of K-State fans that this Avery Johnson and Colin Klein is a match made in heaven thing. How do you anticipate Klein using him differently than he was used in the previous couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. I mean, you would think I have a blind trust in Colin Klein, because every time he's ran an offense, he's gotten the most out of that offense. I mean, just look back to what he did at Texas A&M. Marcel Reed was not Marcel Reed before he got to Colin Klein. He became Marcel Reed because of his experience in the tutelage of Colin Klein. Even before that, I mean, Adrian Martinez and Will Howard were pretty much given up on by their respective fan bases. Nebraska was ready to kick Adrian Martinez to the curb. Will Howard was, scapegoated for how bad he looked his first 2 or 3 years in Manhattan. Those two quarterbacks led Kansas State to the Big 12 championship in 2022 under then play caller Colin Klein. By the way, that was his first time as a Power 4 offense coordinator and play caller as well. So I just kind of have like this blind faith that Colin Klein's going to figure it out. He's going to put Avery Johnson in the right situations and really just enhance and maximize his skill set the way that it should. Now, for that to happen, what I will say, and I know that it's something that they have harped on, but Avery does have to be more aggressive and more decisive on the ground when he does take off. He doesn't have to take off a lot. Even Klein has said that. He's so fast that if he takes off and does it the right way, he won't have to run a lot because he'll be scoring. So the thing is, he has to be aggressive and decisive, and he has to make better decisions with the ball when he does put it in the air. I do trust that Colin Klein will be the answer to what has kind of held Avery Johnson back a little bit. I don't think it's unfair to say that the idea of Avery Johnson has still far outweighed the ultimate reality that we've seen so far.
That's a good way to wrap up that thought right there. Good way to put it. What other position battles have your attention, since we still have a couple of weeks left before Nichols on September 5th?
Yeah, just there's a handful, just because of so many new faces. Not everyone's going to walk in and be given it right away. So a lot of these are going to be getting earned. They're going to use multiple running backs. Who gets the first touch? I don't know. It'll be Joe Jackson, Bobby Fields, Jay Harris. It'll probably be Joe Jackson. But they could all play pretty much the same amount. Tight ends the same. We can cheer Garrett Oakley and, of course, Wichita's own Willie Ancient. So they have three quality ones that they can lean on. The offensive line is still probably the biggest mystery on the team, and some of that's due. It sure seems like they're banged up a little bit. They had three, I would call presumed starters on the offensive line, not practice today. in the session that was available to us. So that is something to watch in terms of a potential injury bug hitting the team. Defensive tackle, I think one of those spots is probably up for grabs still, whether it be Travis Bates or Elijah Jackson or someone else pops through there and makes an impact. That's probably a spot that still weighs in the balance. Maybe another linebacker spot, though it sounds like Gabe Powers is kind of grabbing one next to potentially Mekhi Mason. The one corner will be Zayshawn Rich. The other one's probably going to be Caleb Patterson or Donovan McIntosh, who played last year, of course. So those are the things. And maybe the punter battle, I would say, quietly is becoming something to watch between Simon McClannon, who actually was the starter last year, and then Emporia State transfer Dylan Davidson.
You talked about 3 teams that K-State does not have on the schedule from the Big 12. With that in mind, Derek, as it stands right here on August 18th, and you have a right to change your mind a month from now, but what's this team ceiling in the Big 12 this year, do you think?
I mean, I would have said the ceiling is 10 or 11 wins just based on the schedule. It's a little bit softer than usual, if we're being quite honest. You get to dodge Utah, you get to dodge BYU, you get to dodge Texas Tech, and the next best team in the Big 12 is probably Houston, and you get them at home. The next toughest game might be at Arizona State or TCU, and you get Arizona State at a perfect time. They play Arizona State right between the Sun Devils, have to go and play Texas Tech and BYU on the road. So the dynamics of the schedule certainly work in favor of Kansas State in a multitude of ways this year. So I think things right. I mean, it could be a very, very good season. But with that being said, the offensive line being a little banged up is starting to become at least fairly concerning at this point.
Talking to Derek Young at Derek Young KSO, K-State Online, where you can follow his work. September 5th against Nichols is when K-State opens up. Again, 3 in a row at home and 5 of the first 6, including the first 2 in the Big 12. Before I let you go, Derek, what about the buzz around Casey Alexander and the men's basketball program? Can you thumbnail sketch that for us?
Yeah, I think some of the main players to rely on will be guys like Andre Kostic, who was the one lone holdover from last year. I think they expect him to take a monumental leap this year and be one of the significant contributors and a likely starter. Brandon Recksteiner is a guard, a transfer from Colorado State that I think they'll rely upon quite a bit as well. And then big man JT Rock. That was once upon a time at Iowa State. He's been in New Mexico the last couple of seasons. I think he's going to be the kind of a main cog and what they will do as well. From a sheer talent standpoint, they're probably a little bit lesser than they've been the past few years. I think they have a little bit less money to spend, so that typically is how things work out. But this is a coach, and you still need a prerequisite amount of talent for any system. So we'll see if they got that prerequisite amount of talent to make it work. But this is more of a system over players' philosophy and style. It is a offensive system that is more analytically driven than anything, that they don't necessarily run through one player. So they probably are going to run the ideal offense and defense for this type of roster, and we'll see how it meshes and if they have enough talent to not be overwhelmed when you do play some of those teams that are a bit more loaded.
K-State football opens up on the 5th of September, Saturday night game at the Bill against Nichols. First of 3 home games in a row. That Tulane game, maybe the most intriguing one, at least on paper, coming up in week 3 of those 3.
Yeah, my gut is that Tulane actually takes a huge step backwards.
Okay.
Their head coach hire that they made, they've typically been really good at hiring coaches, whether it been Willie Fritz or John Summerall, two teams, the Tulane teams that gave K-State fits and were coached by those guys. They went and got Will Hall, who was on the staff last year, but prior to that does have head coaching experience when he was 3 years at Southern Miss and was a disaster and got fired. So, and obviously a lot of any players that were pretty good on that Tulane roster are now gone. They're at Florida or other places. So I think we all still have PTSD and paranoia about what Tulane has given K-State each of the last 2 meetings. But I don't think this Tulane team is anywhere near the caliber of those two.
You'll find that out on September 19th. And finally, Derek, appreciate your time once again. On the text line, texter wants to know, is there any update on the Tang lawsuit that you can talk about?
I think nothing has actually been filed in open court, which is obviously interesting because of how long it's been and the initial threats that took place upon him being fired for so reading in between the lines and getting snippets from some people here and there, I think that the discussions and settlement talks are taking place behind the scenes with the lawyers. And I would imagine that we're probably drawing closer to a conclusion. I will say that it's obviously, I think the deal that's probably going to end up getting signed is going to make it appear that Kansas State probably did make the right choice, at least from a financial standpoint.
Very good. Derek Young joining us, talking all things K-State. Derek, thanks so much for the time, and we look forward to that game against Nichols. We'll talk to you again soon, okay?
Thanks for having me on.
All right. There goes Derek Young from KStateOnline.com, talking K-State football. First 3 at home, 5 of the first 6 at home. One of those is against KU. And I would imagine that those that bleed purple have got 6-0 in their eyes heading out to the desert in the 3rd week of October. You got Nichols, Wazoo, Tulane, then a trip to Cincinnati. That won't be easy. That's on September the 26th. And then 2 Big 12 games at home. Houston, who's going to start the season ranked, if you're into that. And then Kansas, Saturday, October the 17th, is in Manhattan. So 5 of the first 6 at home. Can't complain too much about that. We'll see how the Cats do this year under Colin Klein with a tune-up game against Nichols coming up on Saturday the 5th, 6 o'clock on ESPN+. A couple things to get to before we get to round 2 of our Twitter tournament. Number 1, we need to remind you that 1 month from today, Pat and myself will be at the fair, the Kansas State Fair, and we'll be there September the 18th. And that is coinciding with Red Friday. So you Chiefs fans, if you want to come to the fair then and see us, or even if you don't, wear your red and celebrate Kansas Lottery's Chiefs Red Friday on September the 18th. And if you show your Play On app at the gate, you can get in for only $5. And if you're not a Play On app member, you can join for free at kslottery.com to get in on the deal. More details on that as we get a little bit closer as far as where Pat and I will be set up. But we'll be doing our shows from the Kansas State Fair in Hutch coming up on Friday, September the 18th. So watch for us there and listen for more details as we get closer. All right. So we'll see you up in Hutch coming up in a month. When we return, we do have the second leg of our Denzel Washington movie Twitter tournament. The first leg was won by Training Day, and it was close. Training Day barely edged out Glory for 1 spot in the finals. And it's pretty much a foregone conclusion who's going to be joining Training Day, what movie. And we'll tell you about the quartet that is up there on Twitter coming up here in just a second, as our Top Golf Twitter question will be looming on the other side of the break. But before we get there, speaking of the Kansas Lottery, got $30 in scratchers from the Kansas Lottery to give you if you're lucky enough when you call 316-669-4996. $30 in scratchers from the Kansas Lottery is on the line. So call Jack at 669-4996. Top Golf Twitter coming up next here on a Tuesday.
You're listening to the Shane Dennis Show on ESPN Wichita.
Tech problems slowing your business down? ImageNet Consulting brings 70 years of experience to Wichita, specializing in agnostic managed print solutions, managed IT, and audio-visual integration. Visit ImageNet.com.
Truck owners, Toppers Plus Truck and RV is stocked with the tonneau cover for you. Protect your truck bed and valuables with a locking truck lid. Choose from hard, soft, folding, or retractable covers. Toppers Plus has top brands including Lear, Backflip, Undercover, X-Gang, Roll and Lock, Retracts, and more. Work or play, make your truck work for you. Visit our huge showroom at 333 Northwest Street or toppersplusks.com.
Make your truck work for you.
What do people with blindness or low vision need to live to the fullest? Just ask them. It's skill development, scientific breakthroughs, knowledge-based jobs, and the same opportunities as everyone else. When you give to Envision, whether it be your time, donations, or your engagement, you make it all possible. That's because at Envision, they don't focus on the disability. They value the ability. They choose not to envision a world without sight, but to envision a world where people who are blind or visually impaired are empowered to reach their full potential. Learn more at envisionus.com.
The future stars of women's golf are returning to the birthplace of the LPGA for the 5th year in a row. Golfers from the Annika Women's All-Pro Tour are set to head to Wichita for the 2026 Heritage Classic presented by Keystone Solid Surfaces at Rolling Hills Country Club September 8th through the 13th. Interact with the golfers by being a part of the Pro-Am or bring the kids for the free Junior Pro-Am and the Kids Golf Clinic. Mark your calendars for September 8th to the 13th for the Heritage Classic presented by Keystone Solid Surfaces.
Say cheese and pepperoni with Schlotzsky's buy one, get one free pizzas. Start the middle of the week off right with a free pizza on Wednesdays at Schlotzsky's. All pizzas are buy one, get the second free. Signature sourdough, fresh toppings. Now that's a win-win pizza. Make Schlotzsky's your Wednesday lunch and dinner plan. It's a great deal any way you slice it. Schlotzsky's. It's a mouthful.
Get ready for a new NFL season with the best coverage of Chiefs training camp on ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
Good to get a preseason game under our belt, play against somebody else. I think the hard work that the guys have done had paid off for them as far as stamina during the game.
From training camp to the Super Bowl, Wichita's best Chiefs coverage. ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
She's like the wind through my tree.
You think Patrick Swayze could have a Twitter tournament like Denzel's got right now?
Oh, no doubt about it.
Yeah, probably so. The late, great Patrick Swayze, born on this day. Speaking of Denzel, we've got round 2 of the Denzel Washington movie tournament. Again, moving on to the finals on Friday was training day, narrowly edging out Glory yesterday. The Twitter question every Tuesday is brought to you by Topgolf. And if you're looking for the perfect venue to host your next big event in Wichita, look no further than Topgolf Wichita. Whether it's a corporate event, client appreciation night, birthday bash, fundraiser, or tournament, Topgolf Wichita has got you covered. Tee off your next event at Topgolf. Go to Topgolf Wichita online, or give them a call if you're here in Wichita, or even if you're not. 316-394-4057, 394-4057, and reserve your date. The next 4 up for grabs here for your vote of the Denzel Washington movie tournament. Remember the Titans, the Manchurian Candidate, Philadelphia, or the Pelican Brief. This one's not going to win, but one of the low-key awesome movies that he did, I think, is a Pelican Brief. And that was a long time ago. Much younger Denzel and a much younger Julia Roberts. But it was based on a novel, based on a book, as most movies are. And I can remember younger me reading the book. And as great as movies are, we all love going to the movies. And the books are almost always better. And the Pelican Brief book was better. But very good adaptation to the big screen from that book. But alas, This is a landslide. And this may be a harbinger of things to come Friday. We'll see. Because there are still some just legendary movies left in Denzel Washington's clip that we'll use later on tonight and tomorrow. But remember, the Titans right now is getting 87% of the vote. Just a blind taste test, Jack. What's the best movie that Denzel Washington has ever been in?
There's so many to pick from. I mean, I love Training Day, but the one I just can't pick against is Remember the Titans. That is a movie I will be watching very soon. You know me, as football season approaches, whether I love the movie or I don't, I go through a string of football movies. I watch the same ones every single year.
You know what was on the other day? We Are
it?
Marshall.
There's a
little something about that gets me.
Oh, how can it not? I always get a little choked up and misty-eyed when they show up to the plane crash. I mean, oh gosh. I mean, that one sticks with you. Remember the Titans does the same thing.
Yeah.
And as I got older, it hit me more. Like when I was a kid, you loved the funny parts about it and just the camaraderie. It's a football movie. That's really what I cared about when I was little. But then when you get older and you got Gary Bertier and the car accident and what are you talking about? He's my brother. And I mean, that one gets you every single time. But Denzel Washington in that movie delivers a performance that I really believe that few actors have done in a coaching role before. We've seen great performances as players. We've seen great performances, from legends in football movies. I mean, I thought Al Pacino on Any Given Sunday is really, really good.
Yeah.
But Denzel Washington, the Gettysburg speech in that movie, just the way I'm blanking on the actor's name that plays Coach Yost.
He's that character actor that's in a ton of movies. I know
he is, and I never can remember his name.
Yeah.
But the way they feed off each other, it's awesome to see. You can tell how dedicated he was to that role. Not that he wasn't any more dedicated to other roles, but man, you can really tell. Maybe I'm being too much of a cinematic fan, but when you've got a talented actor like that delivers a performance like that, you can almost tell how much time and preparation they went into. Because he talked to the real Herman Boone.
Right.
Wanted to get his mannerisms and how he would talk and how he would coach these guys. And I can't wait to watch it again because I've seen it give or take 30 times in my entire life. And it never loses its power. It never loses its meaning for me. I'd go as far to say it's the greatest football movie in my book.
Will Patton, I'm being told
Patton.
that's that guy's name. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so great. It really teaches so many people so many lessons. Because even when I was 8 years old watching it, you got to understand the white versus black stereotypes in Virginia at that time, in Alexandria, what it was, and to have a school that got integrated. And
that seemed like a fictional movie, honestly.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
And then I always, in that movie, that gives me chills is before the season starts, how Coach Herman Boone, Denzel Washington, is informed you lose one game and they'll fire you. That will be enough for cause because of how it happened. And what happens, they go undefeated.
Yeah.
And they win it all. And the soundtrack in that movie is great. There's really not one actor in there. And of course, RIP to Hayden Panettiere, who died over the weekend.
That's right.
Delivered an iconic role as the daughter of Coach Yost. And what I was going to say and kind of wrap up this point with a bow is there's nobody in there that delivers a lackluster performance where you go, they really weren't meant to be in this movie. I mean, Ryan Gosling just being a side character as a safety who's a liability. He's getting burned, and they have to put in Petey, who was a running back, and then Petey's really good. And then Coach Herman Boone gets mad at Yost for coddling the players. I could quote the entire movie, and it never gets old for me. It is such an iconic classic, and he's a big reason as to why.
Yeah, Texter said, remember the Titans' top three football movies of all time. So high praise for Remember the Titans, and the voters are reflecting that. Remember the Titans going to cruise into the finals on Friday. But we still got 2 more days of Denzel Washington movies, and they will include, in no particular order, the Equalizer movies. I'm gonna bunch all those together. I think there are 3 of them. He Got Game, Man on Fire. One of my personal favorites, The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, the train hijacking movie with John Travolta. That's on the list. So is Malcolm X, and so is Crimson Tide, the movie with him and Gene Hackman. So I can't wait to see who gets to Friday and then who emerges over the weekend on Monday as the best Denzel Washington movie. Because we got some bangers, but remember the Titans is mopping the floor with the other three right about now. All right. When we return, we need to talk to Jordan Foote. Jordan's Juicy Takes, brought to you by Booth Creek Wagyu. But before we do, if you want a freebie to Top Golf, text the word Denzel to 316-666-2285. Get some free Top Golf stuff courtesy of me. Text Denzel. If I pick you, then you can come by and swing by and pick up a free gift certificate to Top Golf. Text Denzel to 316-666-2285. When we come back, Jordan's Juicy Takes. What did he think about the Chiefs-Rams game? And how about the Chiefs-Bucks? We'll ask him next.
Wichita's sports leader. ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM. KKGQ Newton.
Adopt a School is collecting school supplies now through August 31st. Help us support local teachers and classrooms. We are looking for backpacks, Clorox wipes, Kleenex, dry erase markers, glue sticks, binders, and more. Visit adoptaschool.com for a full list. Every donation, big or small, helps students start the school year with the tools they need to learn and succeed. Your donations make a difference for everyone in our community. Items can be dropped off at Rusty Eck Ford or Midwest Kia. Thank you for helping us make a positive impact this school year.
For over 55 years and 2 generations, the Southwestern Remodeling Professionals have been providing homeowners in the Wichita area with a truly unique luxury remodeling experience. From the initial consultation through project design and production, our team provides concierge-style service with a true focus on the best quality products and professional installation.
All right, cool.
Are you ready to experience something truly different? Give us a call today at 263-1239 or visit southwesternremodeling.com.
Looking for a pharmacy that actually puts you first? Discover the difference at DAM Pharmacies. From fast, friendly prescription service to customized compounding, immunizations, and everyday health essentials, DAM Pharmacies is your trusted local partner in care. And now with their new location in Wichita, downtown at 401 North Waco, it's even easier to get the service you deserve right where you live and work. Skip the big box hassle and experience personalized care that makes a difference. Why go anywhere else when you can choose a pharmacy that gives a damn? DAM Pharmacies, local, convenient, and committed to you.
Furnished by IntelliBrands. Whether because of discomfort, lack of mobility, your lifestyle, or occupation, you sit inactively way too many hours a day. Get an Ellipse, the premium quality automatic seated exerciser that strengthens legs, increases mobility, and boosts circulation without physical strain or impact. Improve your flexibility and balance. Strengthen and tone your legs.
My joints feel better, my knees feel better, my back feels better, and it makes me feel stronger too.
My circulation is moving. I'm burning calories, and it makes me feel energetic.
It's so quiet that none of my coworkers even know I'm using it.
Call now and order Ellipse, the seated exerciser that strengthens legs, increases mobility, and boosts circulation. And for a limited time, get a free upgrade to our deluxe bundle with a faster motor, sport mat, and wireless remote. Call 800-555-1212. That's 800-555-1212. 800-555-1212 now. These statements and products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
Why buy ordinary grocery store beef when you can elevate your beef with premium Wagyu? Premium ground beef, grocery store price. Right now at Booth Creek Wagyu, stock up on premium frozen Wagyu ground beef for just $8 a pound when you buy 10 pounds or more. Perfect for burgers, tacos, or your next backyard cookout. Bring home the rich flavor and quality of premium Wagyu and taste the difference for yourself. Visit Booth Creek Wagyu and Seafood Shop in East Wichita near 21st and Webb and discover a better way to enjoy your next meal. Booth Creek Wagyu, elevate your beef.
Your home for Kansas football is ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
Head football coach of the Kansas Jayhawks, Lance Leipold.
I can't even believe we're heading into our 6th season when you think about that. It just seems like yesterday we got here and time keeps moving. Got through spring well. Really impressed with our guy.
Every play, every update, every interview. Jayhawks football is here on ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM, Rock Chalk.
That can only mean one thing. Jordan's Juicy Takes coming up. Brought to you by Booth Creek Wagyu. Jordan, we had preseason football finally to talk about. Unfortunately for the Chiefs, if you're into results, all they had to show for 60 minutes against the Rams was 4 field goals. But considering there weren't too many frontliners as far as skill position guys playing in that preseason game for the Chiefs. So we were left with trying to sift through the number 2s and maybe what the rotation would look like in the Buccaneer game. And I'll get to that here in just a second. But one guy that I'll out Jack, and I think he's okay with it. He was impressed with Garrett Nussmeier. And he felt like, and I think we all felt like, that the Chiefs maybe got one over on everybody by taking him in the 7th. He's probably not a 7th rounder, and certainly didn't look like it. Looked pretty comfortable in that game. What do you make of Garrett Nussmeier? And moving forward, if you got a crystal ball, what's his future look like in Kansas City after one preseason game?
He looked good. He looked a little bit better than I expected, and I think that I've probably been a little bit higher on him throughout the earlier part of the process. So he really impressed me. The numbers did not do him justice. I think 13 of 19 for 98 yards, no touchdowns, no picks, just made good decisions with the football, did a decent job extending plays. I think that his arm is a lot more lively than people think. Like, we saw the clips of his just quick release during the offseason program, during training camp. He has a little bit of extension ability to him. He had the 1 3rd down where he found Nico Remigio for, I believe, 17 yards and looked very loosely Mahomes-esque almost on that one. And you can tell that he's been hanging out with Patrick Mahomes and learning from him. And again, a couple plays could have significantly changed his stat line, I think, as is always the case when players go out and play in these pretty good components. He made decent decisions with the ball. He shook off whatever the injury was that he had where he got banged up near the end of that 3rd quarter. I think that the 2 plays that he would want back, one of them on him, one of them not. The Cyrus Allen play where the defender just made an absolutely awesome play on the ball. If you put a little bit more air under that, it's probably a touchdown. And then the deep ball to Jason Brownlee where I don't think Nussmeier could have done anything differently. That easily could have given him well over 100 yards, maybe even 200, 1 or 2 touchdowns. So the stat line, the raw box score doesn't do justice to how well he played. I think that you're 1 or 2 missed opportunities away from a really bang-up job in your first NFL action.
So maybe the biggest takeaway besides him, and I guess if you want to put Justin Fields in there, he was 4 for 4 passing the ball. He's going to be the primary backup to Patrick Mahomes. I don't think anybody's questioning that. But it was the run game, and it didn't include Kenneth Walker, and yet it was still 4.5 yards a carry as a team. Emmett Johnson led the way, and he broke maybe as many or more tackles than Isaiah Pacheco did in his entire 2025. And that's not to poke holes in Isaiah Pacheco's game, although maybe it is, or maybe that's just not an indictment on him, but how eye-opening Emmett Johnson might be. Again, one preseason football game, but he certainly looked good. And so didn't you think, Jordan, the short passing game and the screen game?
1,000%, Shane. And very quickly, before I jump into Johnson specifically, the ability to have cost-controlled 4-year young talent via draft picks instead of UDFAs is super important in today's NFL. And Johnson, his cap hits are between 1 and 1.4 million the next 4 years. If Nussmeier ends up being a long-term backup to Patrick Mahomes, you're doing that at 1.1, 1.3 million per year. Like, if these players do hit, and again, it's one preseason game, we're not getting too far ahead of our skis here, but those two would combine for less than 1% of the cap the next 3 years, it would just be an absolute home run to get a quality backup running back, a quality backup quarterback. And Emmett Johnson looked every bit as good as even his biggest proponents thought coming out of the draft. Forced more missed tackles, I believe, than any ball carrier over the weekend. Very explosive around the edge. And I wanted to hammer home on this. You provided a perfect segue with Pacheco. I went and did some digging from entering the draft, the pre-draft process. Emmett Johnson ran almost 0.2 seconds slower of a 40 time. His 20-yard split was 0.1 seconds slower than Isaiah Pacheco, and his 10-yard split was 0.05 seconds slower. And that was kind of the only reason, in my opinion, that Johnson slid in the 2026 NFL draft to be in that day 3 selection, was because the athletic profile didn't test as well as many expected. And don't get me wrong, Isaiah Pacheco in, let's say, 2025, not the same athlete that Isaiah Pacheco was in 2023.
True.
I think that's safe to say.
Yeah.
But the one play where Johnson was not chopping the feet like Pacheco, but the number 10 jersey being a blur around the edge, and he outran 2 defenders and forced one to miss, like that was very, very not reflective of the athletic profiles you put up. So that is a classic example of play speed with pads on, all of that, versus how you're going to run in a straight line. Emmett Johnson really flashed more than even I thought he would, and I was very, very high on that pick. So he was A+, hands down, I think, the biggest winner from that game.
Again, you and I both said this after one exhibition game or preseason game. We shouldn't be getting overexcited about anything. But considering Kenneth Walker didn't even play, and you're going to have a battle royal for the majority of the snaps not taken by him, you would think, between Emmett Johnson, a return of Brashard Smith, and Amari DiMercato, who's already got a few skins on the wall when he was with the Cardinals. So not that this is going to turn into a running attack like Chuck Knox back in the day, and they're going to run more than they pass, because I think we realize that's not going to happen. But maybe the best running back room since, I don't know, fill in the blank. Is that too overzealous?
No, I think that is possible. Like, it's not going to be, you hit the nail on the head, the like Jamal Charles, Thomas Jones year where they either both had 1,000 yards or one of them was super, super close to it and one was well over. Like the Chiefs last season, even with Patrick Mahomes going down at the end of the year, they had tied with the Cardinals for the highest pass rate over expected. Like Andy Reid teams are always going to throw the ball, but if you can do this, and I think that we used it as a cop-out or a cope for the wide receiver room being bad last year, this year, that screen game that you mentioned could legitimately be weaponized as an extension of the run game at or near the line of scrimmage, behind the line of scrimmage. And Brashard Smith made the something out of nothing play earlier in the game. There were some penalties that wiped away impressive plays by the running backs,
including a touchdown, right?
Red flag. Yeah, exactly. Emmett Johnson could have added a touchdown to his ledger, if not for, I believe it was Ethan Driscoll maybe that had a penalty. It might have been Hunter Norzad. But the Chiefs, they need to have an effective screen game. I think they have the athleticism and aggression and coaching on the offensive line to maybe not be all the way back to where the prime Andy Reid screen game was. That is an aspect of it. The sheer running aspect, maybe you go more under center instead of straight from shotgun. Like, all of these things are interconnected. And when you have a prime Tyreek Hill, prime Travis Kelce, maybe a Sammy Watkins thrown in there, that sort of receiver room, it's not as fun to talk about these things. But now that the Chiefs know who they have personnel-wise, they have to perhaps scheme around it a little bit. All of these things matter, and you saw little bits and pieces and flashes of it in that opening preseason game.
And I don't think we should overlook this either. And nobody wants to think about this because we assume that Patrick Mahomes is his trajectory is going upward as far as his health and his rehab and his timeline and all that. And he gives us no reason to think otherwise. But just in case he's not all right, and Justin Fields is your starting quarterback, this could very well be a situation where you would run it more than you threw it. Now, you'd never do that with 15 back there, but if Justin Fields is your starting quarterback, I don't want to say the opportunities are endless, but you do have 3 or 4 guys that none have to be the bell cow, although that's what you brought Kenneth Walker in here for. But you would think Fields would have some RPO situations. There would be some end arounds. There would be best case scenarios, some drives where he only threw it one time. So even though this is not on anybody's radar because we have full, confidence in Mahomes being ready week 1, in case he's not, you might want to see what you got back there in the backfield.
Yes, and endless possibilities, 1,000% in there. And Brashard Smith, I either made this point here with you last week or maybe sometime in the past over the summer. If he is not a pure running back, and he did look better over the weekend than he did, I think, at any point last season. He also said that he bulked up a little bit during the offseason to help in pass protection. Like, he's doing everything he can to make the team. His path is probably going to be, what can you do as a special teamer? Can you hold up as a pass protector? And how good of a receiving back can you be? And he has the background as a converted wideout to maybe be the gadget player. I think that Xavier Worthy admitting he couldn't run some of the stuff the Chiefs wanted him to last year. Perhaps they do get back to some of the rookie year stuff that they were using him on with the ball just in his hands, not necessarily as a vertical receiving threat. Like, they could smoke and mirrors their way through some things. And if Patrick Mahomes is not 1,000% week 1 or 100% or 95, whatever the number is, there are avenues to still be competitive and not phone it in while still being kind of a creative and gimmicky offense. And that isn't what they want to be long term. But if you are in a pinch, I think that you saw just very, very bare bones versions of what they can do.
On the injury front, Mansour Delane finally put on a regular jersey and went through practice just like everybody else did, although it took until yesterday for him not to have the yellow non-contact jersey on. Should we breathe a sigh of relief and feel good about him going into week 1, regardless of what he does in the next 2 preseason games?
Absolutely, 1,000%. That is a huge win for them. And even if he didn't play in this next preseason game, I still wouldn't hit the panic button. The fact that he shed that non-contact jersey for the 10-10-10 practice, which was kind of expected anyway, but then did not put it back on. That was the big thing. It would have been a little bit of a surprise if they did that, but for him to get the clear, as Brett Beach kind of hinted at, absolutely massive for his development, his arc. And listen, Shane, whether it's fair or not, he has to be a very, very good quarterback in year 1 for him to be worth the draft pick. He has to be all-pro in 3 years. He has to be Pro Bowl probably next year. Like, this kid has to be absolutely awesome for it to be worth trading up and passing on a wide receiver, passing on an edge rusher. But in every camp clip that I've seen and observations from out there, everything, he has looked very, very good for what he's been allowed to do. Noah Williams has been productive in the secondary. So if anyone can make it work, it's the duo of Steve Spagnuolo and Dave Merritt. So for Delane to shed that jersey and maybe be able to play in this game against the Bucs is nothing but a positive thing.
Andy Reid was quoted yesterday as saying, quote, "Trey is doing well. He's getting close. We'll see where it goes. I don't know if you'll see him this week, but he's getting close." End of quote. He's talking about Trey Smith, who was at practice but didn't. He was basically wearing shorts and a shirt. Are you worried about Trey Smith, and do you believe Andy Reid?
Yes and yes. I do think that he's close, but the problem is Andy Reid saying he's close could mean a multitude of things. Like, do I think Trey Smith is going to miss 6 weeks of the regular season or open on IR? No, not necessarily. Do I think Trey Smith is going to practice tomorrow? I would be surprised if he did. Like, I think it's probably going to be shutting him down for the rest of the camp, which is just this week. He doesn't need the preseason reps, but you add in the Khalil Benson of it all and him playing at right guard, and then Josh Simmons getting hurt. He has a back problem, so then Jalen Moore is moving over to the left side. Like, this offensive line suddenly has a ton of moving pieces when if you would have asked anybody on the street a month ago they'd say it's 1,000% solidified, and there is no right tackle battle. There is no injury situation to monitor. And the overarching issue here is when Andy Reid first described the Trey Smith hip injury, he said he went to see a specialist, Shane. And
that's not great.
Not common for a short-term, non-issue injury.
Mm-hmm.
He said, okay, well, yeah, he went to see a specialist, but it's no big deal. He's going to be fine. He'll be back out here. Like, those two things usually don't go hand in hand.
Well,
so
you'd like to think that was out of 100% abundance of caution, and that specialist was like, yeah, you guys don't have anything to worry about. Just let it calm down, which I'm speaking for the specialist. But, yeah, to your point, you go to a specialist, usually that's no bueno.
Yeah, so I think on the panic meter, I'm at like a 3.5, a 4 out of 10, but most of the time I'm at a 1. So that's something to monitor. It's not something to truly worry about if we get out of camp and he is back with the team and everything is good. The fact that it hasn't seemingly gotten worse is a plus, but it is awkward to say the least.
So getting back to the Rams game and looking forward to the Buccaneers game, the lion's share of the carries went to old Emmett. Are we going to see a flip-flop there when it comes to maybe the running backs as far as who works with the ones or most of the ones and then the 2s and 3s? Are we going to get a flip-flop there? Would you think? My vote or guess would be yes. What say you?
Yeah, I think it's possible. And the number one thing that I'm keeping an eye on in this one, what does Amari DiMercato get in terms of carries? And most of the time, in I'd say the majority of situations, a entrenched veteran who doesn't get many snaps, that just means that their job is secure. There's nothing to worry about. It's no big deal.
Mm-hmm.
If you remove the context of Amari DiMercato's snaps and say he had 10 total snaps in the opening preseason game, everyone would say, okay, well, yeah, he's clearly RB2, no big problem. Then you peel it back a little bit more and say he didn't play in the first half at all. And you're like, okay, that's a little strange. I don't know why they did that. Then you say half of those snaps were on special teams. He had 5 and 5. That makes it even weirder. So I don't care about the unofficial depth chart. I still would lean that he's running back 2. That's probably the right call. But again, you bring up the panic meter thing that I like to point out. That's like at a 5. I'm firmly monitoring that situation. It's weird that he didn't play in half number 1 at all. Why would you play him at that point if he's so entrenched? I know that Emmett Johnson got a breather at one point, but strange to say the least. I do think that Brashard Smith needs more work as a pure running back. You saw a lot of what Emmett Johnson gives you. He still needs the reps as a rookie. Don't get me wrong, but if I were like power ranking positions that I'm following coming into this Bucs game, I do think that would be pretty high on that list.
You mentioned this guy a minute ago, and I would imagine he'll be in everybody's crosshairs in the Buccaneers game, but that's Khalil Benson. Not only was he not your run-of-the-mill undrafted free agent, this took a couple of days after all the dust settled before he ends up with Kansas City, and now he's, I don't know, in the mix, for lack of a better term. And I would imagine you're going to be bearing down on him too, this rookie from Indiana with a shot maybe at right tackle for the Chiefs, or being a swing tackle, or just being one of those. You talked about, really getting your guys on the cheap like Nussmeier and guys like that. If Khalil Benson turns into something, boy, wouldn't that be a story?
It is and I don't say this lightly, because the Chiefs have said and done many confusing things over the years that we've been talking on this show, dating back to, I believe, 2021. Top 5 most confusing things about the Chiefs. Like we've seen guys early in training camp get reps with the ones, and then once pads come on, they fade, or the injured guy gets back in the fold, they fade. It's no big deal. No one cares. We knew what they were. Khalil Benson is still out there. And even before Trey Smith got hurt, he was still out there. He was competing. The contradiction between he's purely a tackle, he's competing with Jalen Moore, he's a developmental piece. on one hand versus, okay, maybe he has some guard versatility, but also the NFL passed on him after the draft and let multiple days pass, like you said, to not pick him up. So he clearly can't be that good. Then on top of that, he's getting sometimes dominated at right tackle in the training camp clips. He doesn't look awesome at right guard. Like, if he was absolutely knocking the socks off of everybody on film, on game tape or clips from practice, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. And I'm not trying to be a wet blanket for the Khalil Benson parade, but he's not been thoroughly impressive, but he's still getting premium snaps, premium opportunities, premium reps that we say time and time again every year. The Chiefs are very intentional with how they divvy up those snaps. And the Smith injury definitely was an opening for him to get more work. But regardless of whether it's the right call or not, it seems like this kid is going to be making the 53. And that's one of the few changes we made in our second Chiefs roster projection up on Chiefs on SI that came out Monday morning. Khalil Benson is now on there for Ethan Driscoll, who had some penalty troubles in the opener. So he is a fun story to watch, a fun story for just about anyone to root for, but it definitely is a head scratcher for kind of a multitude of reasons early in the preseason.
Jordan's Juicy Takes brought to you by Booth Creek Wagyu at Footnoted on Twitter or X. Jordan, you got any parting shots leading into the Chiefs Buccaneers preseason game 2?
I think I'm just really intrigued to see how the young guys do, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Noah Williams had a very impressive limited sample size in the first one, played well with a nice third down pass breakup, good tackling downhill. Jaden Hicks was outstanding, one of his best games regular season or preseason. As a pro, fantastic pass breakup in the end zone to force a field goal, very aggressive downhill, and then R. Mason Thomas flashed immense burst on that play that Hicks had the PBU on, also better against the run than I expected. So we talked about this whole 2-year rebuild thing for the Chiefs and how the defensive side was seemingly this offseason, and you saw flashes of the possibilities if that ends up being the case.
All right, Jordan, we'll let you go with that, and we'll talk to you again next Tuesday. Good job.
Yep, sounds good, brother.
All right, Jordan Foote and his Juicy Takes brought to you by Booth Creek Wagyu, raised right here in Kansas. Whether it's burgers on the grill, tailgating, steak nights, or just getting together for the big game, BCW brings you premium flavor, unmatched tenderness, and a true farm-to-table experience. Stop by their 21st and Webb location here in Wichita. Tell them ESPN Wichita sent you. They got all kinds of samples there for you. Taste the difference for yourself. It will change the way you eat beef. BoothCreekWagyu.com for more or to order online. When we return, this is why we can't have nice things. Royals knocked the A's around a little bit last night, but there's one thing that sticks out that'll keep us all from waving our royal blue pom-poms. We got to talk about it next.
You're listening to the Shane Dennis Show on ESPN Wichita.
Go Hog Wild, Pit Barbecue. Hog Wild, get some for you.
It's hard to choose a favorite at Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, but Terry Caldwell, Hog Wild partner and general manager in Wichita at Maple and West Street, thinks that's an easy call to make.
It's got to be Hog Wild's award-winning ribs. Our ribs are so good because we only buy our meat from those who share our high-quality standards. We also hand rub each slab with our famous seasoning blend. Then, Hog Wild ribs are slow smoked over hickory each and every day for flavor and tenderness you're going to keep coming back for.
Are Hog Wild signature ribs your new favorite? Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 6 locations in Wichita, also in Derby, Hutchinson, and Salina.
Go Hog Wild, Pit Barbecue. Hog Wild, get some for you. But don't be late, we close at 8. Tricked out, decked out, check us out. Truck Stuff.
You've probably already heard that Truck Stuff is the place to go to lift, level, or lower your truck. And of course, we have an enormous in-stock selection of bed covers, running boards, and floor mats. But did you know that we do wheels and tires, gear swaps, and spray and bed liners? Stop by today to deck out your ride at Truck Stuff at the corner of Central and Washington.
Tricked out, decked out, check us out. Truck Stuff.
What do people with blindness or low vision need to live to the fullest? Just ask them. It's skill development, scientific breakthroughs, knowledge-based jobs, and the same opportunities as everyone else. When you give to Envision, whether it be your time, donations, or your engagement, you make it all possible. That's because at Envision, they don't focus on the disability. They value the ability. They choose not to envision a world without sight, but to envision a world where people who are blind or visually impaired are empowered to reach their full potential. Learn more at envisionus.com.
Big news, Kansas. Four Seasons RV has opened a brand new location in Andover. Your trusted RV dealer from Abilene is now even closer to Wichita families ready for their next adventure. Whether you're dreaming of weekend lake trips or cross-country road journeys, Four Seasons RV has the travel trailers and fifth wheels to get you there. Come celebrate the new Andover location of Four Seasons RV and start your next adventure today. ESPN Wichita listeners can save $500 if they mention ESPN. Four Seasons RV, your Kansas family-owned RV dealership.
Hey, this is Evan at Conradi Insurance. We know every business is different. That's why we take time to actually understand what matters most to you. We work with Kansas businesses and families every day to help protect what matters most. Whether it's business insurance, employee benefits, or personal coverage, our team takes a hands-on approach to finding the right fit for you. Local service, trusted guidance, Conradi Insurance. Local people helping protect Kansas businesses and families. To learn more, visit ConradiInsuranceGroup.com.
The Surge are on the road this week in Texas, and listen to the games from Frisco. The Wind Surge return home Tuesday, August 25th for a key series against Arkansas. It starts with a 2 for Tuesday, continues with a Wet Nose Wednesday, a Turbo Tubs Thirsty Thursday. Friday brings post-game fireworks, Saturday a Wind Surge hockey jersey giveaway, and we wrap it up on Sunday with a Kids Day. Join the fun and get your tickets at windsurge.com and listen to the game tonight starting at 7 p.m. on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
And we might go.
Yeah. Los Elias, guitarist for Slaughter, born day 129. Took us a while, but we're going to talk about the Royals and their homestand that began last night against the Athletics. And there were so many good things to take away from that game one victory that you'd need two hands to do it. Everybody in the starting nine for the Royals contributed in one way or the other. Everybody reached base safely at least once. Bobby Witt Jr. scored 4 times. Michael Garcia and Vinny Pasquantino were back in the lineup for the first time in forever. Even Kyle Isbell pitched in with a little patience, with a little clutch hitting. And despite Michael Wacha not being at his best, he won. He was a winning pitcher for the first time in forever. Was less than, again, stellar, but didn't walk anybody. Worked around trouble as best he could. Didn't have his best stuff. Gave up 3 home runs, but he was a winning pitcher. Thanks to one of the new guys. Matter of fact, you had 3 guys. Connor Thomas worked a scoreless inning. He only threw 11 pitches. John Schreiber threw a scoreless inning. He only threw 9 pitches. And Steven Cruz worked a scoreless inning. He only threw 8 pitches. The reason I bring that up, and Nate Pearson threw 18 pitches, so he did throw a scoreless inning. But my point is, if there's a similar close game and the Royals are ahead later on tonight, in theory, Thomas, Schreiber, and Cruz will all be ready to go again because they did their business in fairly short order. So in a perfect series, in a 4-game series, you might see those guys or one of those guys 3 times unless the Royals fall behind. And that is what's so important about game one of a series, a high leverage reliever getting in and out of there with 11 pitches or less. And 3 of those guys did that. So bravo, the bullpen, to preserve a win for Michael Wacha, and a bullpen that has been leaky at best. Got 12 outs before surrendering a lead. 9-5 was the final. Bobby Witt Jr. had a great game. Michael Garcia, multi-hit game in his return to the lineup. Jack Caglione, after a brief little spell where he didn't get a hit, 3 hits last night. He's now hitting .424 in the month of August. But we seriously have to have a conversation about Lucas Erceg. He's unpitchable right now. He entered the game last night with a clean 9th inning and the Royals leading 9-4. If there is ever an opportunity for somebody to get their head right, and he's still throwing 98, 99 miles an hour. So if there's something wrong with him physically, I would love to know where it is. But he walked 2, hit a batter, gave up a hit, and had to have Steve Cruz come in and save the game, which he did, thank God, in only 8 pitches. Got a double play and a ground ball, and made the 9-5 game look a lot better than it was. And it was good, really, until Erceg came in and started making a mess. And I don't mean to be critical or harsh, but that's the bottom line. This is the cold, hard truth about Lucas Erceg's worth on this team. What is it? He can't go, like, you can't banish him to long relief. He's a short reliever. He's not going to go more than, he'd be lucky to go 2 innings. So he's not like the Daniel Lynch of old, where the starter gets in trouble. And this is all due respect to Daniel Lynch, because he used to be fairly good at it, that you'd run him out there for 3 innings just to kind of try to calm things down and absorb some innings and save the bullpen for the rest of the series. Erceg can't even do that. And even if he could, he's not getting anybody out. So, and yes, he has options. They can send him down and not risk losing him through, that he's out of options and he'd have to clear waivers. He has been atrocious in his last 30 games, or in the last 30 games. So last month, basically, his ERA is 8. His last 5 innings, he's given up 11 hits and he's walked 6. Like, he's unpitchable. There is no situation that you can trust him to pitch. And with that, he doesn't need to have a spot on this team right now. You could argue, hey, the Royals are 52-74. They're not going anywhere. So let him figure it out. That's what you're paying him for. Yeah, I get it. But you also owe it to the other 24 guys on the team who are trying to win baseball games. No, they're not going to the playoffs. But no, you can't just keep running guys like Erceg out there to torpedo a game, which Erceg would have done if they would have left him in there, and will do in theory, and damn sure would make everybody's heart skip a beat if he came in a high leverage situation. There was not a more perfect time for him to come into a game and try to just get through an inning by hook or by crook, and he couldn't even do that with a 5-run lead. Jack, I cannot envision a reason that Q or anybody else can give. It's not Q's decision necessarily. It goes higher than him. But if anybody asks him about it tonight, I would love to hear the answer of why Lucas Erceg on August 18th needs to be on this team. Can you?
Yeah, if you did, it wouldn't be a very valid reason. And I've been one of those people that said, look, it doesn't do you any good to put Lucas Erceg in AAA. Like, he goes down there and dominates. Yeah, he should. He's a big leaguer and he throws upper 90s. That should be good enough stuff to dominate 4A guys and AAA guys. However, there's not a single player on this roster that needs this season to end more than Lucas Erceg.
You're right.
Because it's getting worse every time out. The writing was on the wall well before this game, but I thought that his 2026 season died in Minnesota when he went out there and got the first 2 outs, then imploded.
Mhm.
It was the game that maybe is the poster child or the poster game for what the 2026 Royals have been. I guess maybe it's not the perfect one because they were actually close to winning that game, where a lot of them, they haven't been close at all.
Yeah.
But what value does he bring you as a low leverage reliever? I don't believe there's any value there. Certainly not when you're getting
There
outs.
would be if he was stretched out to throw 55 pitches, but he's not. So
he's not.
Yeah.
And they keep trying this over and over again. I don't blame Matt Quatrero for using him last night, because my question would be, if not there, when? You don't want him in high leverage. That's low leverage. That was trying to save Steven Cruz some pitches.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got a 4-game series. You don't have an off day till tomorrow. And I get it. Most people are going to go, well, it doesn't matter. The season sucks anyway. And who cares if somebody gets hurt and left? No, these still matter. Like, this is the big leagues. You're not just throwing away games at this point. And I think it's important Steven Cruz finishes the year well. And I didn't want him throwing last night, but kudos to him. He came out there and got a double play ball. And I have been a big fan of Ryan Lefevre all season long, and really all of his time being a Royals broadcaster. But one thing I disagreed with last night was, I don't know if you caught this, but it was kind of trying to alleviate some of that criticism or alleviate some of that pressure that Ursig had to have felt in the dugout. And it was right after the double play ball, and he goes, man, that's the way baseball works. Like, Lucas Ursig was all around the zone and so close, and then Steven Cruz comes in and throws 2 pitches and gets a double play ball. And I go, that doesn't work for his outing. That was a 5-run cushion. You can't be nibbling around the zone.
That would be the definition of ball don't lie. Cruz threw it with conviction, and Ursig didn't.
He didn't. And it's weird because he's throwing 98, 99.
Right, yeah.
But then you go and look at some of these numbers, and this is the obvious reason as to why he's been so bad this year. There has been some bad luck mixed in here. There's been some unfortunate outings for him. But he is striking out less than 15% of the hitters he's facing. On top of that, he's walking 14% of the guys he's facing. That's abysmal. That's an abysmal strikeout rate. It's an abysmal walk rate. You could throw 104 miles an hour. You would be an ineffective reliever if you're striking out less than 15% of the guys and you're walking more than 10% of the guys you're facing. There's no command there. Guys are hitting 552 off his changeup this year.
I can't understand any of this stuff that you're telling me. I can't get it. And I don't think anybody else can either. It's getting to a point where people are feeling sorry for the guy.
Oh, to see his face out there, I mean, that's on a human level. You feel for the guy. It's baseball. It's a business, and you're paid to get outs here. But the fall from grace of someone that I saw more criticism for Carlos Estevez last year, despite leading the league in saves. I never seen anything like that in my life. Were there some shaky outings? Of course. Yeah, it wasn't like he was out there throwing like Wade Davis and just striking out the side and pumping triple digits. But there were legitimately people out there going, I'm so sick of him having to put runners on and getting the save. Can we just throw Lucas Ursig out there? Because I know that Lucas Ursig is going to go out there.
Raising my hand over here.
At least he'll look cool doing it. At least he'll go out there and pitch like he's mad at someone. And how wrong many people were. Like, you take that for granted. Someone who had one of the top save rates in baseball. It wasn't just the number of saves. He only blew like 5 saves last year.
Yep.
But Lucas Ursig, I can't explain it more than that. Like, he gets a lot of ground balls. He limits extreme hard hit contact. I mean, his barrel percentage is in the 88th percentile, and I don't always try to use baseball savant for everything, but when I can't figure out what's going on with the guy, I turn to this and say, okay, what numbers can you tell us here? Fastball velo, really good. The average exit velocity, pretty good. Guys are averaging less than 90 miles an hour on exit velocity. But here's where you can turn this into the next part. Why can someone who throws 99 and limit the hard hit rate? I remember that was a big problem for Steven Cruz last year. Threw really hard, but still got barreled quite a bit. So when he struggled, he really struggled because guys were putting it in the gaps at 108 and 109. Well, he gets a lot of ground balls, and he throws hard, and he limits hard hits. But when you can't command it and you can't strike anybody out, those are going to find the outfield.
Yeah.
Those are going to be those ground balls with eyes. And it takes one of those for him to spiral. And that's the confidence part here. He has no confidence out of the mound.
That happens, and it's here we go again in his head.
Yeah. I mean, that Minnesota game where they were up 3-0 with 2 outs in the ninth, he hit one guy and melted down.
Yeah.
I mean, he never recovered from that. He would get ahead 0-2, miss with one changeup, and then every other pitch after that missed. We are not at the point anymore, Shane, where we can say, can you get him fixed, and does it take a AAA stint? I'm at the point where I'm wondering, is he even on the roster next year? I mean, is he in the organization next year? Because you can have, I mean, if you can find guys like Steven Cruz and turn them into what they are, then you can do that with someone else and not worry about Lucas Ursig recapturing.
And even if he, let's say he just limps to the finish line and he just 8.0 ERA Lucas Ursig the rest of the way, and maybe they pitch him here and there, maybe they don't. Like, at what point, even if he had a great spring training, would we all have all that residue out of our head and be like, all right, he's fixed? Like, I don't think there's a jumping off point that would signal that next spring versus now through the end of 2026 at wherever he does it, Kansas City, Omaha, or wherever. But something's got to change, man, because he's not big league worthy right now, even for the Royals. And that's saying something.
And the Royals need to do the right thing here and give him the phantom IL stint. There's nobody, as I said, that needs a season end more than him. And there's nobody that needs 10 days off more than him right now. Like, go out there and say, yeah, it's a neck strain or it's knee inflammation. And I was saying this the other day that it's still kind of tough to do that because, I mean, I've had a neck strain before. I've had knee inflammation before, and I don't throw 99,
Right.
but I know it'd take some off if I was dealing with that. But look, whatever IL stint it would be, Royals fans are going to see through that and say, yeah, he's not really hurt.
Yeah.
You just need to put him on the injured list and not have this public humiliation of you're sending him down to AAA Omaha. Because then the worst thing that can happen for him is he goes down to AAA Omaha and he's still not pitching well. Then you might have effectively ruined him. But this is, look, Shane.
It's a cold business. You know that.
It is. Yeah, we all know this. But it's just he's had the opportunities. The opportunities have been there for him to go in low leverage and strike out the side and go, man, there you go.
I know.
All right, let's take it in the next one. Let's build a couple of low leverage outings. Then we'll give you a high leverage outing and see where we go from there. It's never been good this year other than that weekend series in Seattle where he got the T-shirt after it,
right.
or after that quote. I mean, I've never seen that before either, where a guy gets a T-shirt, and I bought it, by the way, so that's my money going toward it, and then you're wanting him off the team a couple months later. It's baffling.
Yeah.
It is absolutely baffling when evaluating the season for him. And even last year, kind of remember talking about him and saying, hey, he doesn't seem like the same Lucas Ursig.
Right.
Like, he's not as dominant as he was in 2024. And that was still a 2.64 ERA in 61 games. Like, the strikeout numbers were down. So maybe the regression, the signs of regression were there. I didn't see it being like this, though. I mean, he's going to finish, if he stays in this bullpen, Shane, he's going to finish with an ERA north of 7.
I agree.
I'm very confident in that. And at that point, you got to say, let's protect this guy a little bit and say, let's stop this for right now.
Right.
Let's just put this on hold, go relax, go get your mind right. And then maybe we'll try this thing in September, or maybe we just shut you down for the rest of the year. Because I know for a fact it ain't getting better. It would have happened by now.
I've been there. You're right. It ain't getting any better. All right. Game 2 tonight. I'm sure we'll be talking all about that tomorrow as the Athletics are throwing a guy named Jack Perkins, and I can't wait to talk about him. But more on that later. I'm old, Jack's young, coming up next.
The Shane Dennis Show will be right back on ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
Eaton Roofing and Exteriors loves being a part of the Kansas landscape. Since 1993, they've repaired or installed residential roofing on thousands of Kansas homes. And whether you've had storm damage or you're ready for a new, current, weather-hardy roof, you can trust Eaton Roofing and Exteriors for expert advice about the right roof for your performance needs, budget, and neighborhood covenants. Call the local Eaton experts today at 316-943-0600 or visit EatonRoofing.com.
Eaton Roofing and Exteriors.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days, UFC, and wall-to-wall TVs. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar. Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
Okay, can't wait.
What do people with blindness or low vision need to live to the fullest? Just ask them.
Correct.
It's skill development, scientific breakthroughs,
draft
knowledge-based jobs, and the same opportunities as everyone else. When you give to Envision, whether it be your time, donations, or your engagement, you make it all possible. That's because at Envision, they don't focus on the disability. They value the ability. They choose not to envision a world without sight, but to envision a world where people who are blind or visually impaired are empowered to reach their full potential. Learn more at envisionus.com.
All right, team, heads up. Whether you're stepping up to the plate, hitting the court, or just taking on your day, confidence matters, and nothing boosts your confidence like a strong, healthy smile. At Cambridge Family Dentistry, they deliver all-star care for the whole family, from routine cleanings to cosmetic treatments, helping you look and feel your best every single day. Don't sit on the sidelines with your smile. Cambridge Family Dentistry, your hometown team for a winning smile. Schedule your appointment today at cambridgefamilydentist.com.
Wichita's home for the Dallas Cowboys. ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
3rd and goal from the 5. Dak from the gun. Drops back, flushed out. He's going to run left. And Dak Prescott waltzes in for the Cowboys touchdown.
Dallas Cowboys football can be heard right here. Go Cowboys.
Wichita's 100,000-watt powerhouse. ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
Mississippi, middle of a dry spell. Jimmy Rogers on the
I'm old Jack Young. Oh, man, I didn't fix the camera. Pat's here, but you can't see him if you're live streaming. Hook yourself up there, Pat. Pulse coming up here shortly. Yeah, there we go. There he is.
The things we do around here.
Right. Where is this on the one hit wonder? Is this top 25?
Believe it was 49.
Ah. This is Atlanta Miles.
Correct.
Black Velvet. 80s hits continue throughout the month of August with Jack and myself. It's 150 born day today. Not a bad day. Turning 46 today, Jack, is Jeremy Shockey.
Former Giant, Saint.
Mm-hmm.
How many shares did you have of Jeremy Shockey? Surely 1 year you had him.
Maybe one, yeah.
Really? Only one?
Yeah.
I feel like he's one of those tight ends that
you
gets lost. Yeah, gets lost in the shuffle.
Pride of Ada, Oklahoma. Jeremy Shockey. University of Miami also. Luke Fickle, 53.
Football.
Yeah.
Isn't he on the hot seat?
Where is he?
Wisconsin.
There you go. Thank you.
Pretty sure he's on the hot seat. Wisconsin fans wanted him fired last year.
Concur.
Wasn't also maybe that guy when KU was looking, well, no, Leipold's been around for a little bit now. Felt like Luke Fickle was one of those names that before Cincinnati joined the Big 12 that KU fans wanted.
Richie Cunningham, 56.
Let's go baseball.
Neither one of you are old enough to get the underlying joke about Richie Cunningham. Richie Cunningham was Ron Howard's name in Happy Days, that TV show that was on for a zillion years. But anyway, the real life Richie Cunningham was a kicker for the Cowboys back in the late 90s.
Okay.
So there you go.
You know, a fun stat I forgot to pass along to you earlier today, but I'm sure in a story of the week context, the Cardinal rookie Joshua Baez hit 3 home runs in his first 3 at bats. Yeah. Would it surprise you to know that since then he's 0 for 16 with 6 strikeouts?
I did not know that.
Whoops.
Isn't that wild?
That is.
I thought about it the other day because I'm like, man, I really haven't heard anything about this kid since the home runs. And then if you had to bet, like, I think I saw a stat where if you bet $10 on him to homer in 3 consecutive at bats on that day, you would have made billions of dollars or whatever
Easily,
it was.
Yeah.
And then I thought about, then what if you were to put a bet on him to go hitless over his next
10 at bats? Yeah.
Yeah. Like how much money you'd make then?
Oh, for his last
cow.
16.
Before Noah Cameron did what he did, he was my player of the week. I was like, man, my hand's forced here. I got to talk about this guy.
So now he is 3 for 19
with 3 balls,
I believe. Yeah, 3 for 19. So he's hitting 157.
Wow.
I
Brian,
think there's been some bad luck though sprinkled in though. It sounds like he's hitting the ball hard.
he needs to face Lucas Ursig.
There you go.
And the opposite
go.
is true. Brian Mitchell, 58.
Football.
Yeah.
That's what you tell me is Brock Rodden has as many home runs as that guy. All right. Or not home runs, many hits as that guy. Let's go.
Brock Rodden, former Shocker. Kenny Walker, 62.
Football.
No.
Wow.
Basketball player. So slam dunk contest participant once upon a time. Former University of Kentucky great. Born on this day, not dead. Daryl Cousins. Hint if you need it.
Sure.
He was an official.
If you give me that, I'll go baseball.
Yeah, he's a former umpire. Correct. 3 World Series for Daryl Cousins. R.I.P. R.I.P. Matt Snell died earlier this year.
Football.
Yeah. Jet running back. Born on this day, R.I.P. Roberto Clemente.
Baseball.
Yeah. Died in a plane crash, New Year's Eve, 1972.
Got your dad.
Scared my dad to death. Along with a lot of other people. Pitchers, that is. 15-time All-Star Bob Clemente from Puerto Rico.
How long was the bomb that he had on your dad?
Did he get my dad?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I thought your dad talked about him. That's for sure.
Yeah. He's the only guy that scared me. I wasn't kidding about that.
It's kind of funny. I'm just now looking at our tweet out there. Do you guys have the exact same segment and exact same storyline at the exact same part of each show? Yours, Shane, at 125 was the Royals win, but an underlying thing, and Pat's is the same one.
I didn't let it look at Shane's.
How about that? I don't think that's ever happened before. You guys have talked about similar things before, but the exact same part of the show, the exact same segment.
Pat has a phobia, it seems like, to talk about the things that I talk about. I'm like, dude, people don't listen to Wire to Wire. No, but
Not
generally
always.
you have a phobia of it. I'm like, if you think it's worth talking about, talk about it, dude. Don't worry about it if I talked about it.
It's being mindful. I didn't realize that I worded it the exact same way, though.
I'm pretty sure if I look back,
that's
Shane's
hilarious.
was Royals
though.
win, but
I don't know that mine
good.
was, Jack. I think you're misremembering.
I'm right. You're wrong.
Okay. All right, well, I'm done then. I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Jack just hurt my feelings. Stick around. Pulse is next.
Bye, Shane.
Bye.
Okay. My turn.
Wichita's sports leader. ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM. KKGQ Newton. Get ready for a new NFL season with the best coverage of Chiefs training camp on ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
Good to get a preseason game under our belt, play against somebody else. I think the hard work that the guys have done had paid off for them as far as stamina during the game.
From training camp to the Super Bowl, Wichita's best Chiefs coverage. ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
Hi, I'm Ben Farha, owner of Farha Roofing. Kansas weather can change in an instant. Hail, wind, and severe storms can leave your home vulnerable when you least expect it. That's where Farha Roofing comes in. Our trusted team provides professional inspections, quality workmanship, and guidance through the insurance claims process. If you think your roof may have been damaged, don't wait. Protect your biggest investment with the company Kansas homeowners trust. Schedule your free inspection today with Farha Roofing. Farha Roofing, we rise above the rest.
Susan, it's so great to finally be able to get together again.
Oh, it sure is. And I really appreciate you picking up the bill.
I'm happy to. I've got the extra cash. Since we've all been driving so much more again, I've been using Get Upside, the free gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Get Upside app?
Yes, up to 25 cents a gallon. Cash back every time I buy gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Some months I make $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Get Upside app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code MOVE for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents a gallon on your next fill up. You can cash out anytime to PayPal or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code MOVE for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code MOVE.
Hey, this is Evan at Conradi Insurance. When it comes to protecting your business, your family, and your future, having the right team matters. As the largest family-owned insurance agency in Kansas, we at Conradi Insurance Group take a personal approach to insurance by getting to know our clients and helping them find coverage that fits their needs. Whether it's business insurance, employee benefits, or personal coverage, we're here to help you make confident decisions every step of the way. Conradi Insurance Group. Trusted coverage, real relationships. To learn more, visit ConradiInsuranceGroup.com.
Do you want to be part of the show? Then text us at 316-666-2285. Send your hot takes, react to the biggest stories, and connect with Pat and Shane live on air. Plus, you could win prizes just for joining in on the conversation. It's fast, easy, and your direct line to Wichita's sports leader. Text 316-666-2285 now and get in the game with ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
This is SportsCenter. I'm Sean Ryder, the founder of ESPN. Bill Rasmussen has passed away at 93 years old. He launched ESPN in 1979 as the world's first 24-hour TV network. Turning to the NFL, and Commissioner Roger Goodell told a German media outlet that the league will eventually have a team permanently based outside the U.S. Giants are signing former Steelers running back Najee Harris to a one-year deal. Baseball, the Dodgers are 75-51, but have struggled some over the past month and a half. Royals analyst and former first
I'm
baseman
right, you're wrong.
Eric Hosmer on those struggles.
When you hear Dave Roberts,
I'm pretty
the
sure
manager
I
of the Dodgers, speak in his press conferences, he is trying to wake up his players.
I don't know why
man.
that made
You
me
can
think of
see
Lesky.
He is not happy.
Just the way that you delivered it.
Sounds like somebody said.
It sounds like Lesky.
Standard here. We're playing against ourselves, not the other team.
All right, infomercial, baby. Let's do it.
To hear Dave Roberts say that, that's kind of that
For
wake-up
you,
call
I at least record
before
mine.
October here, and you can't just turn it on. We got to be playing.
But what
good
I'm
going
saying
into
is we got a
October.
live read after every break.
Pat McAfee showed
Pretty
Diamondbacks
much.
placing all-star second baseman
Image
Tom
net,
Marte on the
Eaton
restricted
Roofing.
list after it was a no-show for
How's
last
it,
night's game against the
Schwan?
Red Sox in Boston.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Kennedy.
We're loaded.
The Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen are still searching for a Super Bowl appearance. I'll tell you if they finally break through this season. It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
You're listening to The Pulse with Pat Strathman on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
Small town, big dreams, and a young boy the age of 15 had a premonition his city would get seen. Now I'm winning, get Sheen in the city of the home of our heroes.
What's up, Wichita? Happy Tuesday, everyone. Hope you're having a fantastic day. It's been a fun one around here, that's for darn sure. If you missed the last 10 minutes of the Shane Dennis Show, well, you need to go back and listen. That was a thing of beauty. But welcome in. It's no longer the Shane Dennis Show. Now it's the Pulse right here on Wichita Sports Leader, ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM. Thanks so much for dropping by. Thanks so much for putting us into your presets. Some of you probably have us at preset number 1. We appreciate that. We appreciate all those who are streaming. Lots of you already watching on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Lots of people on there. A couple different comments. One I don't understand. The other one being from Ashton, the IOJY song today would play at least twice per shift when I worked at a grocery store. All right, good to know, Ashton. Thanks for letting us know on YouTube. You can drop a comment on YouTube. Also, drop a comment on Facebook. No comments allowed on X, but you can video stream the show. Those are all the different ways for you. If you just want to listen to us, the options are ESPNWichita.com. That website has everything you need. Listen live capabilities, the podcast, links to our YouTube channel, so on and so forth. You can also listen in on the ESPN Wichita app. The ESPN Wichita app has also all sorts of goodies for you. If you want to listen live, you have the capability there. And while you're listening, if you feel the need to pick up the phone, there's an option for you to dial right then and there. If you forget the text line number is on there. Links to our social media platforms, everything you need when it comes to ESPN Wichita, right there on the ESPN Wichita app, which you can download on iPhone or Android, doesn't matter. Apple, Android, doesn't matter. You have the ability to download the app and be a part of the fun on there. You can also tell your smart speaker to tune into ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM or KKGQ. I'm Pat Strathman. Jack Johnson is in. He's producing and contributing to the show. You can also contribute 316-669-4996. If you feel the need to give us a call, feel free. 316-666-2285 is the text line number. Speaking of the text line number, someone just said, hey, Pat and Jack, are the Royals mathematically eliminated from the playoffs? I don't have that at the top of my head. My guess would probably be no. So are you trying to say, hey, Pat, inject some positive energy into my veins right now? I don't know if I really can, Texter. But I do appreciate the text. Be like that, Texter. Chime in, weigh in on what we're talking about here on the program. But also that text line number is something that you need for giveaways. And here's what we got going on today. We have free barbecue to hand out, so you'll need the text line number for that. You will also need the text line number if you want to win Kansas State Fair tickets. We have 4 tickets available, 4 GA tickets for the Kansas State Fair. In order to win those things, you need the text line number at 316-666-2285. One more thing I want to bring up, because we've had a few of you reach out when it comes to fantasy football questions. We've already talked to a bunch of people from last year, and I think 90% of the individuals who are part of fantasy football last year, they're locked in. But we do have some potential openings. If you would like to play a little fantasy football with us at ESPN Wichita, text the word fantasy to 316-666-2285. It's pretty standard 10-team leagues. We have PPR. There are some things you can win. A fantasy football jersey that we have with ESPN Wichita on it. We also have some other giveaways as well. I don't know how many individuals we need as of right now, but if you have any interest in competing against us at ESPN Wichita in fantasy football, text the word fantasy to 316-666-2285. And I will do my best to get a hold of you after the show. Like I said, I don't know exactly the number because there are, I believe, 3 individuals who have yet to respond. We've had a couple people say that they had to duck out, which is totally fine. Totally okay. A couple of individuals that were not invited back. That's just the way it goes sometimes. Sometimes you have to have integrity for fantasy football, by golly. But if you want to play against us, everything's pretty standard. PPR, 10-team league. It's nothing like what I'm dealing with in another group right now, which is a 14-team super flex tight end bonus dynasty league that has been going on since Sunday afternoon at 2:00. And I don't think we have the 4th round completed yet. You don't have to worry about that. We're not doing that when it comes to our fantasy football league. But if you want to get involved, text the word fantasy to 316-666-2285, and I will jot down your information, and I will let you know if you are officially in. I think we might have I think last time I checked it was maybe 5 spots is kind of what I'm thinking. So if you have any interest, let me know. Text fantasy to 316-666-2285. Someone right away said, send invite to this. This one individual is ready to rock and roll. So, and I believe just the way that the drafts are going to go, they're going to be online and they will be handled by someone at ESPN Wichita. So we'll make that happen. I know for me personally, I sent a message out to those who played last year, and I said, hey, if you want to be involved with this year, then yes, chime in, say you're able to meet. But we also have a unique thing going on at Gillies up in Park City. You can do fantasy football drafts up in Gillies now, which I think is cool. So I am going to be joined by 9 different listeners who are going to have a fantasy football draft with me up at Gillies in Park City. And there will be some free things that they'll get. I'm excited for that. So if you're looking forward to having an in-person draft, sorry, I think that's the only one that we have scheduled for right now. But if you have any interest, let me know. 316-666-2285. Check us out on social media. We have all sorts of things going on social media, all sorts of content from Chiefs training camp. We have some other specialty things going on. We're on TikTok, Instagram, X, Facebook, and boy, are we booming on all those different platforms. Jackson was telling me all about the latest numbers, and it's pretty insane. We appreciate all you who follow us currently, but if you haven't given us a shot yet, feel free to check us out. Someone just said wings and beer with Pat. Sign me up. Yeah. See, maybe next year we can look into something like that. Maybe next year. Someone just said, fantasy, is this a free league? Yes, it is going to be a free league, Texter. It is going to be free. Absolutely free for you all to sign up. Absolutely free. Now, if you want to do some money in the future, maybe we could, but I could tell you what we do is we have some different items that you can win. The top 3 finishers are going to win something, which is great. And what's going to happen is at the end of the year, we will have our fantasy football, just kind of a recap. Top points, who has the best record. We have some different tiebreakers that are involved. So just a little FYI there. But it is completely free. I'm not going to ask you to do something. Never played it, but if you need one person, I can do it. Boy, that sounds dangerous. Never played. And I believe you're also our number 1 Nebraska Cornhusker fan. So if you want to go Emmett Johnson round 1, feel free, I suppose. Feel free to do that. Anywho, here's what we got for you today. Coming up in a little bit, we were supposed to have Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com, brought to you by Seven Glens First Council Casino, Hotel, and Resort. The downside is he had to shift gears. He told me at 1:48, oh, dang, I got to make a switch. So he won't be on with us. He will be on tomorrow at 2:25. So if you were hoping to hear from Matt Derrick today, I do apologize. That ain't going to happen. So in his place, we pivot and we'll listen to Eric Bieniemy, who spoke to media members earlier today, give an update on his wife, his family, what it's like to be back with the Kansas City Chiefs, all that lovely stuff. We also have some other players to hear from as well. Brashard Smith being one of those individuals. So we'll get to some Chiefs sound coming up in a little bit. At the end of the first hour, if you are a K-State fan and you go to Bill Snyder Family Stadium on a regular basis, you better get used to seeing some new logos on that football field. It will be unique, but K-State announced the deal earlier today. We'll briefly discuss that. In the second hour, we'll have a Tuesday with Taylor Eldridge from the Wichita Eagle. The big news last week, Kentucky, Wichita State in Lexington. Huge news. What's new when it comes to scheduling? Taylor Eldridge has been doing some digging. He reported that there might be some more shuffling going on with the non-con schedule for Wichita State. So we'll get into all that coming up at 3:02. At 3:25, Royals win, but ... We'll just leave it at that, since Jack pointed it out that Shane and I were identical when it comes to Twitter for the show lineup. And then at the very end of the show, we'll do a Take Two Tuesday. Jack picks a topic, and we'll have some fun with that topic. That's what we got for you today. It is the 18th day of August here in 2026. Thank you so much for listening. And boy, the amount of people who want to be a part of the draft. I like my drafts like I like my cowbills. There's never enough. See, for me, when it comes to fantasy football, I just got a text message from someone who's going to be with us coming up on Thursday. Josh Howe from Visit Wichita. He asked me, hey, would you be interested in this type of a league? He just sent me a text. Hey, it's fun, man. I swear it's fun. I get it, but one league is good enough for me. I got roped into a second one with some of my college broadcasting buddies from KJHK days. So that's where the Superflex Dynasty League comes into play. And I already feel like I'm tapped out at 2. I feel like if I do more than 2, then what's the point? But here you are saying the more drafts, the better. Kudos to you. I guess that is a little bit harder for me. Just a little bit harder for me. Anyways, Jack, can I count on you for hopping back in? I don't even know. You were a part of it last year. Can we count on you to do it again or no? For fantasy football.
Yeah, sure.
We're going to count on you?
I can't guarantee I'll be good or as active, but I'll be there. My name will be under one of the teams.
Well, see, here's the thing. I can't guarantee I'll be extremely active. Well, Shane had to cleanse himself. Was it last year when he finally gave up fantasy football altogether except the ESPN Wichita League? I'm pretty sure he went on a cleanse. So that's why it's so weird. We're talking about multiple drafts. I think Shane would normally be in your category or in your corner, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon just because last year I think he enjoyed himself. I had someone tell me that they wanted to enjoy the games a little bit more, so they are also taking a break from fantasy football, which I can actually respect. But for me, if there's no money on the line, then I'm not going to stress. If there is money on the line, that is a whole nother ball game. And here's the thing about this fantasy football league with ESPN Wichita. Shane can do well. I can do well. Zach, Jackson, Jack, we can all do well. At the end of the day, it's all about the best listener. It's not about us. It's about you because we can't win the prizes. We can't do that. You can't. So maybe that's why I don't try as hard. Last place needs to have a punishment. I'll think about that for a moment, Texter. I'll think about that. Anyways, let's get to the latest involving the Kansas City Chiefs. Since Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com is not going to join us, I was just going to ask him about all sorts of updates when it comes to injuries involving the Kansas City Chiefs, because they are starting to stockpile. You're starting to see more and more pop up. Now, training camp still is alive and well, Peter Woods recently suffering an ankle injury. You have Jared Wiley with a strained hamstring. Nick Bolton had an illness, and that was from a couple of days ago. You look at some of the latest things. You have Jack Cochran leaving early yesterday with a knee injury. Andrew Armstrong with a strained hamstring. You have Trey Smith. Trey Smith is still not in pads, but according to Andy Reid yesterday, he's doing well. He's getting close. I'm not sure you'll see him this week. You also talked about Jalen Moore and Khalil Benson yesterday, saying they need to be able to play both right offensive line positions. Moore has put together a lot of good days. Tyquan Thornton earlier today left the practice fields in the front of the cart. Unclear of why he was carted off the field. And then we come to find out shortly after Tyquan Thornton strained hamstring, Jimmy Holiday, quad injury, Josh Simmons dealing with a back injury. You get kind of what I'm throwing down here. Lots and lots of injuries are starting to stockpile for the Kansas City Chiefs. Not necessarily anything for us to really worry about because it's preseason, right? It's preseason. It's training camp. It's fine. Like, these things are going to pop up as long as you're not seeing season-ending injuries. That's the fear so far for the Kansas City Chiefs. You're not seeing much of that, thank goodness. Hopefully that ends up continuing to be a trend for the Chiefs as they continue to move forward with training camp. But when you look at Trey Smith, I know Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com, we asked him last week how concerned was he when it comes to the injury for Trey Smith. And he mentioned how he was somewhat concerned because this is something that continues to linger. But Andy Reid says that he's going to be back. Might not be this week. Sounds like it's going to be next week. And if that's the case, then it's fine because guess what? It's August 18th. They don't play football until September 14th. We got a long ways to go before they officially step on the football field and things actually matter. Still a long ways to go. Question is, will we see Patrick Mahomes in game 2? Will we see more of Kenneth Walker III after playing essentially just one snap this past weekend? I'll tell you what, though, Emmett Johnson, yes, I know we have our diehard Husker fan that's listening on a regular basis. Emmett Johnson, if you go back and you look at some of the numbers, his percentage for broken tackles on Saturday was extremely high. I think he ended up with 10 broken tackles in the game on Saturday. No one else in preseason week 1 had more than 5. So that's a job well done for Emmett Johnson. Hopefully we'll be able to see more of him. But if you're thinking about him moving up the depth chart, I was hoping to talk to Matt Derrick today about the depth chart. Spoiler alert, not a lot of movement for the depth chart for the Kansas City Chiefs. I know that surprises probably a lot of individuals. I'm sure that's a major, major surprise to a lot of people, but not really. You have Emmanuel Ogbah, who's been added. Bruce Phillips gets removed. That's it. Those are the only changes for the Kansas City Chiefs. You still have Emmett Johnson, who is placed as a third-string tailback. Rashard Smith still being the fourth-stringer. You still have Patrick Mahomes being the starter. You still have Jalen Moore starting at right tackle. But you are starting to see these things stockpile a little bit, these injuries. In the right side of the line, if Trey Smith, if this thing does indeed work its way into the regular season, well, now that is a point of emphasis, and maybe that's why the development of Khalil Benson is rather large for the Chiefs. You don't want to put your eggs in the basket of a rookie minicamp invitee for sure. But if he ends up contributing in a big way, then you're going to need that depth. And right now, I don't know if you can really count on other individuals. Like Mike Caliendo is going to be on the left side. I guess he could be a swing guard, if you will. Hunter Norzad is behind center. You could move him around a little bit more. But right now, you look at the rest of the offensive line, especially for those who are who are backups right now. Khalil Benson appears to be really the top backup for the Kansas City Chiefs up front. And with Andy Reid saying that both him and Jalen Moore both need to get used to playing right guard and right tackle, I don't know if that's necessarily a sign from Andy Reid tipping his hand and saying that there's more to be done with the Trey Smith injury. But here we are on August 18, still got a long ways to go before we get to the first game of the regular season for the Kansas City Chiefs. So I wouldn't get too worried. Tyquan Thornton going out, it is what it is. The injuries that take place from here on out, there's still plenty of time left. You still got a month to go. If you're out 3 to 4 weeks, it's not the end of the world. You just want to stay away from what some other teams are dealing with, like Jordan Tyson, for instance, who is playing for he's not going to play for any time soon for the New Orleans Saints because he's going to be out for 2 to 3 weeks, maybe even more than that because of an injury already for himself, which was his problem when he played at Arizona State. You just want to stay away from those types of injuries as of right now. And right now, there's really no growing concern with some of these individuals. But Trey Smith is one to keep an eye out on. Sounds like you won't see him this week, but once again, don't hit the panic button because there's still a long ways to go before we reach the very first game of the regular season. 316-666-2285 is a text line number. Appreciate all those who texted with interest in our fantasy football league. I will reach out to y'all when the show is officially done. Let's take a break. When we return, we'll hear from Eric Bieniemy. He's back. How are things going in his world? We'll find out when we return here on The Pulse.
You're tuned into The Pulse on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
Beat the heat and win cool prizes at Crosswinds Casino. On Thursdays in August, we're drawing winners every 30 minutes from 4 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. to score $250 in wins played. Then at 10 p.m., one very lucky player wins $500 in wins played. And the winners with the new Club Wins app get an extra $25 in wins played. Swipe your Club Wins card Sundays, August 2nd through the 23rd for a 5 times entry accelerator. Beat the heat only at Crosswinds Casino. So close, so fun.
For over 55 years and 2 generations, the Southwestern Remodeling Professionals have been providing homeowners in the Wichita area with a truly unique luxury remodeling experience. From the initial consultation through project design and production, our team provides concierge-style service with a true focus on the best quality products and professional installation. Are you ready to experience something truly different? Give us a call today at 263-1239 or visit southwesternremodeling.com.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
The best barbecue deal in town is at Hog Wild. Right now, Hog Wild is serving up a $5.99 meal that's big on flavor and easy on your wallet. Get a 1-meat sandwich, your favorite classic side, and a drink, all for just $5.99. Want brisket? Upgrade to our tender slow-smoked beef brisket for only $1.50 more. Pulled pork, juicy chicken, and hot links. Everything is smoked fresh, made daily, and piled high. This is real barbecue at a price that's hard to beat. When you want big flavor and a big deal, head to Hog Wild for the $5.99 meal deal today. Great food, great price, great barbecue. Join us for lunch or dinner or order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 6 locations in Wichita, also in Derby, El Dorado, Hutchinson, and Salina.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue. Hog Wild, get some for you. But don't be late, we close at 8.
The future stars of women's golf are returning to the birthplace of the LPGA for the 5th year in a row. Golfers from the Annika Women's All-Pro Tour are set to head to Wichita for the 2026 Heritage Classic presented by Keystone Solid Surfaces at Rolling Hills Country Club September 8th through the 13th. Interact with the golfers by being a part of the Pro-Am or bring the kids for the free Junior Pro-Am and the Kids Golf Clinic. Mark your calendars for September 8th to the 13th for the Heritage Classic presented by Keystone Solid Surfaces.
The Surge are on the road this week in Texas, and listen to the games from Frisco. The Wind Surge return home Tuesday, August 25th for a key series against Arkansas. It starts with a 2 for Tuesday, continues with a Wet Nose Wednesday, a Turbo Tubs Thirsty Thursday. Friday brings post-game fireworks. Saturday, a Wind Surge hockey jersey giveaway, and we wrap it up on Sunday with a Kids Day. Join the fun and get your tickets at windsurge.com and listen to the game tonight starting at 7 p.m. on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
All right, welcome back. Tuesday edition of The Pulse right here on Wichita Sports Leader, ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM. Hello, Ashton. Well, I'm also going to be in a league with KJHK people. What are the odds? Well, when you are involved in KJHK, you will have a brotherhood for life. I will say I do appreciate the guy who decided to organize it. It's fun. I will say Superflex, 14-team, tight end bonus, Dynasty League. I've never done a Dynasty League before. And I've also never been a part of a draft where every pick you get up to 4 hours to draft. Isn't that kind of a crazy thing too? So it's currently my pick. I have back-to-back picks. I just don't know who to go with. I'm in round 4, round 5. Josh Allen, Marion Hampton, Colston Loveland are my first 3 picks. You have Carnell Tank. You have Bucky Irving, Kyron Williams, Zay Flowers. Lots of people on the table. I guess if you want to help me decide who to draft, let me know. 316-666-2285. PPR, tight end bonus, all that lovely stuff. My buddies are like, all right, make the pick live on air. All right, there you go. I will wait, though. I'll wait for everyone's input since I have 3 hours and 50 minutes left on the clock. Still can get over that's a real thing. Eric Bieniemy, he's back with the Kansas City Chiefs after what went down with his wife. Such a tragic thing. Well, he spoke to media members about it, spoke to media members about the overall progress of the team. Here is Eric Bieniemy from Kansas City Chiefs training camp from earlier today.
Good morning, good afternoon. Hope all is well. First and foremost, I want to say this. Thank you guys for all the love, the support. Obviously, the unfortunate circumstances which took place is very hurtful in a way. But on top of that, I just respect that you guys are respecting our privacy, and hats off to you. I also would like to say thank you to the Hunt family, the entire Chief family, for the outpouring, the love, and the support that my family has received through this particular situation. But with all that said, we back to football, all right? And I'm all ears. Who got me?
Eric, what did it mean to get back here? And do you feel a little bit like Travis does, that this is a sanctuary for you?
You know what? Yes, it feels good to be back. First and foremost, obviously, it's an opportunity to get back in with the guys, to watch them work. That way now we can all grow and get to learning each other. Obviously, we got a lot of new faces, and we want to continue the developmental process. But it feels good to be back because obviously when you've been in this environment, it becomes your family. This is your family away from your family. So it feels good to be in this environment.
Could you describe a little bit of how you stayed connected? There was some considerable thought about how you were always watching.
Well, and here's the thing. I wasn't always watching, but when things kind of settled back home, I had an opportunity to tap in and tell you, technology is pretty impressive now. You can watch practice live, through a stream, and I had an opportunity to go through the script, and my language probably got a little colorful in the house, and I had a bunch of family members that was there that never really heard some of the language that was used, but I had a great time, and it felt good just to see the guys work. But on top of that, just to feel like I was still a part of it.
So you found yourself actually yelling at the screen sometimes?
Yelling at the screen, yelling at players, yelling at coaches. What the hell are we doing? I was doing everything. I'm yelling at myself. Why would you put that play in? But at the end of the day, it was just keep making sure I can keep up with what was going on. And on top of that, I didn't want to get away too far, but I just wanted to make sure that I can remain focused and locked in when I could have an opportunity to do so.
Clarity purposes, I know Andy's giving updates on the, from what you can tell, is it look like it's going to be a level for recovery?
Say that one more time.
Based on what Andy has told us earlier, does it look like he's going to have a chance to have a full recovery?
I'm sorry. Yeah, Mia. Oh, Mia. Okay. I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry. Yes. So she's on a great road to recovery. And like I said, I'm going to keep that private. And first and foremost, let me go backwards to go forward. Yes, she is on the road to recovery. Yes, she is doing great. It's one of the main reasons why I'm back here, because of her recovery. She's truly a soldier. She's a saint, and it's been incredible to watch. But with that said, I know I was driving her and a bunch of my family members crazy in the house. So she was like, "You have my blessing to leave." So it was time to get back.
What football provides you players and coaches sometimes in like a necessary escape.
This environment, I've been playing football, been a part of this sport since the age of 6. So this has been a part of who I am. I've had an opportunity to make a number of great friends over the years, and those friendships, they last. The bonds that you form are very strong, and you end up developing these instant relationships that just, with things that you have in common. And so this is a beautiful sport. I know, obviously, you have your highs and lows with what takes place on the field, but when it's all said and done with, it's all about people, being united, all right, for one common goal. And that's bringing people together for the same common reasons, because we all want to win. But on top of that, we understand the importance of being accountable to one another.
Eric, you've been with Kenneth a little bit, in the mini camp and all that stuff, but what are your impressions of him now, having had him here at camp?
You know what? Kenneth's been very impressive. He's been working his tail off. The thing that I love about him is his competitive spirit. He gets up, he competes every single day. The thing that I also love, he does not like to be wrong, which is not a bad thing, because he wants to be argumentative, but on top of that, he wants to make sure that he's doing the right things. So when you have that type of person in that player, and the example that he shows out on the field, that he's going to give us the best opportunity to have success on Sundays.
What's been most, pleasant or intriguing for you to now be working with Patrick again, going all the way from the OTA periods to where you guys now are in training camp?
I tell you this, it's, and I don't even think it's necessarily the stuff that he does on the field. We've seen that. Obviously, he's a tremendous competitor. He works his tail off. Everybody understands the talent that he has. When I came back and I watched him work, in rehab, that was what stood out, just his commitment to wanting to get back, his commitment to wanting to being out there with his teammates, all the hard work that he put in with Julie and Rick and all them in the training room. That was very impressive to watch. And if anybody was soft, it was probably me, but watching him go through it, gives me a whole different perspective of not only the player, but the man that he is, all right, and just the type of person that he is and that he's going to turn out to be, all right, on the football field.
Let's go 3 more. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Coach, what did you learn about your young backfield guys behind Kenneth on Saturday, especially him?
You know what? I think our young guys, they did a fairly good job. Obviously, there's a lot of competition in the room. Guys still got to make sure that they're doing all the fundamental things the right way. It's still a growing process. Was it perfect? No, it wasn't perfect. But there was some good, and we'll continue coaching it up. But on top of that, we got to make sure that we continue understanding the fundamentals, okay? Continue building upon that and detailing all the little things that we're expecting them to do, all right? The thing that I appreciate also, too, is that Coach DeMarco's doing a heck of a job with them of teaching them, getting them ready, but on top of that, putting them in the right positions to go out there and excel and show their talents.
Aaron, I wonder if you could describe a little how guys like Patrick and Travis uplifted you and other players themselves during this time, and if you could share a little bit about what it took for you to decide to be able to come back.
It means a lot. I've known those guys, seems like forever now. And you develop these relationships and these bonds. And like I said, we become a member of each other's family. And it means a lot, not only to have great players, but more importantly, great people that happen to be great players that care about you, not just as a coach, but care about, who you are as a person, as a family man. And so it means a lot.
Where are you guys at it? You mentioned joking about yelling at the screen. Where do you feel like you're at as an offense in terms of like a polished operation as far as your satisfaction?
Well, right now it's the beauty of camp right now. Obviously, we're in the dog days of camp. Last week's performance wasn't ideally our best. We still got to make sure that we're cleaning up all the pre-snap procedural stuff. We got to be able to get out the huddle and give ourselves a chance to line up and play. And on top of that, we got to eliminate the holding calls. So if we can eliminate that stuff, we'll give ourselves a chance. Right now, we're still in camp mode, working on the developmental process, making sure that our guys understands the what's, the whys, and the hows, okay? And that's our job as coaches. We got to make sure that they understand all the little things that we're inputting into them to get them to go out and perform on game day. So right now, we're not where we need to be. There was some good, but these practices that we've had the past few days, the guys have stepped up. They've accepted the challenge, and they understand, okay, what needs to be accomplished. So we just going to continue to grow from here on out.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, that's Eric Bieniemy addressing all sorts of things after what went down in his world. Less than stellar, to say the least. Let's hear from a couple of players. This was a little bit on the shorter side, but here's Brashard Smith, who's currently listed as the number 4 tailback on the 2 deep. Here's Brashard Smith.
Go ahead, guys.
How is this camp different from your
I feel like it's more like intentional. I feel like everything is important, and all my assignments is more important, but still the same.
Coach Reed was talking about that. You said they thought you bulked up a little bit. How are you? Do you feel like you did that? Did you bulk up a little bit muscle-wise?
Yeah. Muscle-wise, for sure. I've been lifting a lot, squatting a lot, so just getting ready for pass protection for sure.
How would you describe the competition in the running back room?
I think it's real. It's a good battle right now. We got a lot of guys, all 5 guys, 6 guys right now, are all fighting. So I feel like it's real good right now.
Short Eric, Bieniemy has so much attention to detail. Can you share kind of some of the small things that he's focused on with you this year that maybe weren't as much of an emphasis a year ago?
Mainly footwork, alignment, just the little things. Like, I have the talent, but it's way bigger than that. It's more just knowing exactly where you are, just on your routes, knowing exactly what landmark you have, just the little things, really. Like, he's been focused on that for sure.
The running back room, how would you say that Ken Walker has served you guys as like a leader?
Yeah, K9, he's a dog, man. And I feel like he got the whole group just coming along with him. I feel like he got us running harder, just reading things better. I feel like he's a great vet to be behind for sure.
Coach Bieniemy was talking about while he was away, he was watching a live stream of practice, and he would yell at the screen, all that stuff. What was his communication like with you guys? Would he get on some meetings, and can you have any memories of him coaching from afar?
Yeah, so we'll just be sitting in the meeting room, it's quiet, and we just hear EB just come out and scream out of nowhere, just saying something that I feel like we need that still. Like, he's away from here, but we still needed that, and I feel like it worked out for us real well. He's back and it's better.
Anything else? Thanks for trying.
Thank you so much.
Super quick and to the point. One more individual to hear from, Jeffrey Besa, a linebacker who might be expected to have a little bit of a bigger role in 2026. Here is Jeffrey Besa from training camp.
Could you repeat the last sentence for me?
Year 1 to year 2, how would you say it's different in terms of understanding what season's trying to accomplish?
Yeah. I take a lot of pride in my football IQ and being able to, come into a system and learn the defense and learn the fundamentals and learn the basics. But, going in from, just like you mentioned, going from year 1 to year 2, like that's a lot from just a developmental standpoint. Like they're depending on you to, go into that full off season and really sit down by yourself and really take into the depths of the playbook and learn that by yourself, and to be able to come back and know what you're doing confidently, and to be able to communicate out there. If you're communicating out there and you're loud and talking and being demonstrative with your communication, that means that you have a lot of confidence in yourself and the calls that you're making on the field. So I think that was a huge jump for me, was, just to have that full off season under my belt, being able to take a deep dive into the playbook like I did. And, it showed, when I first came back, and, I'm willing to still, there's still some things that
AJ Storr just committed to UNLV.
To that elite football IQ level with understanding just like offenses and defense.
St. John's, Wisconsin, Kansas, Ole Miss, UNLV.
Yeah, nothing specific in general. I mean, I think it's just like a thing around the league, like especially with our team, like Spags runs a very complex defense. So that's kind of a testimony to yourself, and it's just a good look when you come back and you know what you're doing, and you're actually being a professional and having that full offseason under your belt.
Has that allowed you to play faster and more free this year?
Yes, sir. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, just flying around with confidence, making the right calls, making the right checks, and just being out there with the guys, whatever group that I'm in, just being able to understand what we're doing, but then not only what I'm doing, but also what my D line and people in the back end are doing as well.
What was your focus in training this offseason coming into this year?
Yeah, there was a lot of things. There are a couple of things to list off the top of my head right now, was just, the football IQ, the football aspect of that, and then as well as just my body, being able to, put a little more muscle on, and being able to, put a little more lead to the pencil. And so I think I did a great job of that, just training and watching what I ate, being a full professional, whether that's meal prepping or whether that's, going to multiple trainers, and that's doing CrossFit, like boxing and little things like that on the side as well.
Jeffrey, what did you like most about your performance Saturday, and what did you feel like, man, I wish I could do that maybe better for the next game?
Yeah, first I'm gonna start off with the things that I thought I could have did better. I thought I could have just played more downhill, more freely. There was a couple of times where I was a little hesitant. I didn't really like that, based on some of the things that I was seeing. So being able to see a little, see a lot, and just play freely. But
here's the thing about home field, though.
Tackling and
it takes forever, especially with new releases.
Having to be a scallop tackle.
Oh, I know. I'm talking about Mangino's pull there.
Outside of my frame, and be able to get them down. So take a lot of pride in being able to be a good tackler.
That's sharp.
I just love the tweet that says you actually can't have aura if you're fat. Someone said, explain this. I'm like, that's aura, my friend.
Yeah, so my ideal weight, so right now I'm weighing around like 232 to 233. So I'm at a really good weight, being able to still keep my speed, which is one of my main things in my game. But then as well as just, like I said, just being able to be more firm, whether that's in the run game, and being able to use my hands and be more physical. So that was really it. It wasn't too crazy of a jump from last year. It was just a couple pounds here and there. So.
How do you feel like the competition for the Stamps League is going, just among you, yourself, and all the guys?
Yeah, I think we have a really great room, and the competition has been great. Coming in from OTAs, a lot of guys flying around. A lot of guys know what they're doing now with a full off season under their belt, and we have some young guys in the room who are also out there making a name for themselves as well. So, yeah, with the room that we have, I feel like we have a really good room to where it's kind of always just going to be, every day you really don't know who's going to put their best foot forward, and it's really consistent with our room as well. So it's a lot of guys flying around making a lot of plays. So
yeah, you've got a small group too, so there's a little bit of multitasking and everything. How comfortable are you with it? Particularly you're going back and forth between playing D, playing scout team, and all those different roles.
Could you repeat just the beginning?
Yeah, how do you handle that multitasking, juggling all those different roles?
Yeah, I think just still being a young guy, especially under my role, sometimes you're going to be asked to go out there and give a good look for the offense, but then sometimes you're going to be asked
to got option to Omaha.
See what you can do with the ones,
my gosh,
twos or vice versa. So
all right,
you kind of just got to be.
Good thing I have it scheduled.
Got to be a pro and attack everything with everything that you got. Even if you're out there on the scout, if you're out there on the scout team, you still got to be able to work on your footwork and work on your fundamentals and have good hat placement and good hand placement, whether you're striking blockers or whether you're running to the ball. Right, all those things are being looked at.
The Royals announce it,
and the film never lies.
Yep,
and you always want to be in the final frame.
I haven't
of the
seen
ball.
anything
So,
pop up.
Yeah, you really just got to attack it with that right mindset. But if you attack it with the wrong mindset, then you can kind of dig yourself into a deep hole where
we get to see Carlos Duran.
So just looking to get better from all aspects of the game, whether that's
coming back to you and
being with the first group, or whether that's giving the offense a good look and just finding every opportunity that I can to better myself as a player. So,
thanks, Jeff.
Thank you guys.
All right, well, we had to pivot because Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com couldn't make the show, but he will be back tomorrow. I can promise you that. 2:25 appointment radio for Matt Derrick tomorrow here on the show. You know what's also appointment radio? When we get to the tail end of hour number 1 on Tuesdays and Thursdays, because that means you get an opportunity to win free barbecue courtesy of Tanker Barbecue. Burnt end of the hour trivia question when we return.
The heartbeat of Wichita sports fans. The Pulse on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
What's up, Wichita? For the first time here at the studio, we ran into a little hiccup when it comes to technology, but the problem was fixed so quickly. And that's because we have amazing partners like ImageNet Consulting. They have helped us out with a new printer. They have been our partner for all things audiovisual, managed IT, and managed print. Technology issues can slow any business down, and that's where ImageNet Consulting comes in. They bring 70 years of experience helping businesses stay secure and productive. Whether it's cybersecurity, managed IT, audio-visual upgrades, or secure print solutions, they can help protect your business from cyber threats. I was talking to the individual earlier today about that, and he was like, oh, man, it's amazing how many threats are out there, and you don't even realize. Reduce downtime and technology headaches. Technology is great until it isn't. ImageNet Consulting solves those headaches. You can improve communication and collaboration, and you can get solutions customized based on your needs. Does that all sound great? It sounded great to us, which is why we went to ImageNet.com. Learn how ImageNet Consulting can support your Wichita business. ImageNet Consulting, from IT to audiovisual to secure print. ImageNet Consulting keeps Wichita businesses moving. Visit ImageNet.com for more information.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here it's bigger game days and UFC fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hi, this is Blake Davis with Davis Liquor Outlet. And this is Brian Davis with a special on Busch Light 30-packs, only $26.99. Or grab good old Jim Beam White 1.75 liters, just $30.99. Davis Liquor Outlet, each store independently owned and operated. Wichita owned, Wichita proud.
Say cheese and pepperoni with Schlotzsky's buy one, get one free pizzas. Start the middle of the week off right with a free pizza on Wednesdays at Schlotzsky's. All pizzas are buy one, get the second free. Signature sourdough, fresh toppings. Now that's a win-win pizza. Make Schlotzsky's your Wednesday lunch and dinner plan. It's a great deal any way you slice it. Schlotzsky's, it's a mouthful.
Your home for Kansas football is ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
Head football coach of the Kansas Jayhawks, Lance Leipold.
I can't even believe we're heading into our 6th season when you think about that. It just seems like yesterday we got here and time keeps moving. Got through spring well. Really impressed with our guy.
Every play, every update, every interview. Jayhawks football is here on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM. Rock Chalk.
We're about 15 minutes away from a Tuesday with Taylor Eldridge from the Wichita Eagle. What's new with the Wichita State Shockers? We'll find out in the second hour at 3:25. Some news for the Kansas City Royals. Jack and Shane, we're talking about Lucas Erceg. There is some news involving Lucas Erceg, and we will put that in our back pocket and save it for 3:25. Then at the end of the show, we'll wrap things up with a Take Two Tuesday. Right now, though, let's give you a chance to win $20 to Tanker Barbecue with our burnt end of the hour trivia question. You need to submit your guesses to 316-666-2285. 316-666-2285. Tanker Barbecue, located around the corner from us at 620 West Maple. I I just received a message from our guy at Tinker Barbecue asking, how do I get involved with the Fantasy Football League? And I'm like, hey, if you want to be a part of it, we'll let you be a part of it. That sounds like a blast to us. And maybe he'll even do something special for Tinker Barbecue. I don't know. I don't really know that for sure. But anyways, Tinker Barbecue is great. They're fantastic people. And they are doing some incredible things, y'all. They are adding some more stuff. I don't know if I'm at liberty to say those things yet, but they are adding some things because they're growing. And that's because of you. And we sure do appreciate that. You should go there. If you haven't tried it yet, go there for the daily specials. Today is the garlic sticky rib tips that we had last week, and they were thebomb.com. Might be my favorite item on the menu. I'm just kidding. That's the pork belly burn-ins. Nothing will ever top that. Also, they have great sides. They have ribs, all sorts of goodies. Check out our friends at Tinker Barbecue, open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 until 7 o'clock. Refuel your tank with Tinker Barbecue. Jack, what is our burnt end of the hour trivia question for the day?
Since 2000, how many double-digit win seasons does Kansas State have?
One more time for me.
Since 2000,
okay,
and this includes the 2000 season, how many double-digit win seasons does Kansas State have?
Since 2000, how many double-digit win seasons does Kansas State have? From 2000 to 2020, well, just say 2025. 316-666-2285. 316-666-2285. 2000 to 2025, how many double-digit win seasons for Kansas State football? The first guess that we had was 11. I will help you out. It is below 11. 316-666-2285. How many double-digit win seasons for the K-State Wildcats since 2000? 316-666-2285. If you guess correctly, you'll get $20 to Tinker Barbecue. Hour 2 is approaching. We'll have Taylor Eldridge from the Wichita Eagle. We will dive into the news involving the Kansas City Royals. I did get some text messages in regards to draft suggestions. I'm in a Superflex Dynasty League, 14 teams. I currently have back-to-back picks. I have Josh Allen, Omarion Hampton, and Colston Loveland. How about you guys help me out? Give me who I should select. Give me 2 names at 316-666-2285. Right now, you have Trey Henderson, Carnell Tate, Luther Burden, Bucky Irvin, Kyron Williams, Zay Flowers, Cam Scattaboo, Jordan Tyson, Sam Laporta, Fernando Mendoza. You tell me who I should select. 316-666-2285. Just don't tell me kicker or defense, please. I will go with the selection. Right now, Zay Flowers is in the lead in terms of who I need to select, and I tend to agree as well. Big fan of Zay Flowers. But do I go second quarterback? Because the quarterbacks left, Fernando Mendoza, Cam Ward, C.J. Stroud, Kyler Murray, Bryce Young. This is a super flex league. It's a super flex league. So, yeah, I'm having a tough time figuring out what to do. Let me know. 316-666-2285, in addition to trying to win free barbecue. Someone said, wait, get a running back, then pick another running back with a new scenario. Yeah, it's weak, but I only have to start one quarterback, one running back, one flex, one super flex. So 316-666-2285. Someone said Zay Flowers and Kyron Williams. Okay. That might be the leader in the clubhouse. Keep those messages coming because I want you to help me make the decision. 316-666-2285. Keep in mind, super flex league. I need another quarterback at some point. Do I reach? 316-666-2285. Hour 2, when we return, and it starts with the Tuesday with Taylor Eldridge from the Wichita Eagle. That's straight ahead on the Pulse.
Wichita's sports leader. ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM, KKGQ Newton. Get ready for a new NFL season with the best coverage of Chiefs training camp on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
Good to get a preseason game under our belt, play against somebody else. I think the hard work that the guys have done had paid off for them as far as stamina during the game.
From training camp to the Super Bowl, Wichita's best Chiefs coverage. ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
For over 55 years and 2 generations, the Southwestern Remodeling Professionals have been providing homeowners in the Wichita area with a truly unique luxury remodeling experience. From the initial consultation through project design and production, our team provides concierge-style service with a true focus on the best quality products and professional installation. Are you ready to experience something truly different? Give us a call today at 263-1239 or visit southwesternremodeling.com.
Wichita, your next favorite coffee stop is right here at Mocha's Coffee and Eatery. Enjoy gourmet coffee, fresh pastries, hearty breakfast, and savory lunches, all in a cozy, welcoming space made for your everyday moments. From morning fuel to midday bites, Mocha's fits right into your routine. With 5 locations across Kansas, 3 right here in Wichita, great coffee and food is never far. Enjoy fresh flavors and shared moments at Mocha's.
The Surge are on the road this week in Texas, and listen to the games from Frisco. The Wind Surge return home Tuesday, August 25th for a key series against Arkansas. It starts with a 2 for Tuesday, continues with a Wet Nose Wednesday, a Turbo Tubs Thirsty Thursday. Friday brings post-game fireworks, Saturday a Wind Surge hockey jersey giveaway, and we wrap it up on Sunday with a Kids Day. Join the fun and get your tickets at windsurge.com and listen to the game tonight starting at 7 p.m. on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
Taylor Eldridge on the Pulse is presented by Crosswinds Casino. Beat the heat with cool prizes at Crosswinds Casino. Join them Thursdays in August as winners are drawn every 30 minutes from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. to score up to $500 wins play. Visit crosswindscasino.com for more.
Wichita's sports leader. ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM, KKGQ Newton.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? A man age 50 non-tobacco user can obtain $500,000 of coverage for as little as $110 per month, level rate for 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rate for 20 years. Call Term Busters for a quote, 1-800-908-7636. You're probably paying more than you should. Call 1-800-908-7636. Sample rate for preferred non-tobacco rate class, exam required to qualify. For details, call 1-800-908-7636. Paid for by Robert Livinger Insurance Agency.
ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM, KKGQ Newton.
This is SportsCenter. I'm Sean Ryder, the co-founder of ESPN. Bill Rasmussen has passed away at 93 years old. He launched ESPN in 1979 as the world's first 24-hour TV network. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell told a German media outlet that the league will eventually have a team permanently based outside the United States. Some think it will be a down season for the Buccaneers, but quarterback Baker Mayfield thinks otherwise.
You get your guys, it's just the Bucs against everybody else in that city you're going to. And so I think it's a good opportunity for us against the Bengals. And I think we're going to shock a lot of people this year. And so I'm excited to just get on the road and do that.
Tampa Bay opens the season on Sunday, September 13th at Cincinnati. The Giants signing former Steelers running back Najee Harris to a one-year deal. Jets running back Breece Hall will miss the rest of the preseason with a strained groin. He is expected to be ready for Week 1. College football, North Carolina has named Wisconsin transfer Billy Edwards as their starting quarterback for their opener against TCU in Ireland. This will be played on Saturday, August 29th, and you can watch it on ESPN TV.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Wednesday, we continue to get you ready for the NFL regular season as we go 2-a-days with the Bears and the Bills and tell you which team has a better chance to live up to their expectations. It's on Sportsman 6 a.m. Eastern right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
It's just a public service announcement sponsored by Just Blaze and the good folks at Rockefeller Records.
Fellow Americans, it is with the utmost pride and sincerity that I present this recording as a living testament and recollection of history in the making during our generation.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Ho, H to the O-V. I used to move snowflakes by the
All right, welcome back. Hour number 2 has officially arrived here on a Tuesday edition of The Pulse on Wichita Sports Leader, ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM. Streaming as well. If you want to watch the video stream, we are currently going on YouTube, Facebook, and X. If you just want to listen, if you have a smart speaker, that'll get the job done. Tell it to tune into ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM. Or you can download the ESPN Wichita app or just pull up espnwichita.com on your favorite internet browser. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Pat Strathman. Producing and contributing to the show is Jack Johnson. 316-669-4996 is the hotline number. The text line number, though, boy, is it popping off. 316-666-2285. Appreciate all the fantasy football advice from all of you. A couple of picks that have been thrown out there seem to be pretty solid, so keep them coming. 316-666-2285. If you want to win Kansas State Fair tickets, you will need the text line number as well. Be ready to text when I tell you to. 316-666-2285. Coming up, news out of Kansas City. No, not involving the Chiefs, but involving the Kansas City Royals. There was a conversation that took place on the Shane Dennis Show featuring an individual. Well, there is news on said individual. We'll get to that here shortly. And then at the very end of the show, Jack Johnson will do a Take Two Tuesday. He'll pick a topic, and we'll have the ability to pick two from said topic. So that should be fun coming up later on in the show. Right now, though, we go to the phones, and we talk about Wichita State athletics with a guy who covers the Shockers very, very well. It is a Tuesday with Taylor Eldridge from the Wichita Eagle. Taylor, last week we had a ton to talk about. One thing in particular was Wichita State going to Kentucky to square off with the Wildcats at Rupp Arena. You went back and you watched the game featuring Wichita State and Kentucky in the NCAA tournament. Did you have fun going down memory lane and watching that game again?
Yeah, I don't think I watched it the first one, so that was new to me. So that was the first time I'd watched it start to finish. So yeah, that was an all-time game for sure. You know, both teams played such a high level, and yeah, that was pretty crazy. I can only imagine, you know, with all the emotion and all the build-up, you know, right before that game, what it was like in the moment. But yeah, that was still you know, a lot of fun to go back and see like such a high-level game, you know, all these years later.
Yeah, and then not only that too, but how about just looking at the starting lineup for Kentucky? You have the Harrison brothers. You have Julius Randle, who obviously did a pretty good job there at the NBA level. Not bad. And then, of course, watching what Cleanthony Early was able to do in that game. It's pretty insane to go back and watch that game.
Yeah, you know, Kentucky, all freshmen starting 5, and then, yeah, WSU, you know, obviously in the midst of a historic season. And, yeah, Cleanthony was so good in the second half of that game, really the whole game, but especially after halftime. You know, he was just unreal down the stretch. And, yeah, it's kind of crazy to look back on some of those what-ifs, you know, if things go a little differently here or there, you know, what would that ending have looked like? So, yeah, I mean, it was an all-time game. I know WSU fans don't enjoy it probably as much as I did, just because, you know, coming from like a neutral fan, you know, it was just a fun game to watch, and just like I said, such a high-level game. But yeah, still some pain from WSU fans when I put that up on Twitter. I think they enjoy looking back. They can appreciate, you know, it was an awesome game, but obviously still pretty painful to come out on the losing end of that one.
Well, and if there were any other 8 seeds, right? If there was anyone else that they would have played, think they would have won? I think that's where I go back, because Kentucky is – I remember the NCAA tournament committee when you were going down the bracket and you see Kentucky there and you're like, really? Really? Kentucky versus Wichita State? And I get why. The NCAA tournament committee, they're not dumb. What's going to be the most compelling game? What's going to have the most compelling story? So let's do this to really make it interesting. But don't you ever think that if there was any other 8-seed team that would have been there waiting for Wichita State, had that run continued and their perfect season would have continued? At least I feel like that would have been the case.
Yeah, that was kind of the storyline I remember hearing about at the time, was that, Kentucky was not playing like an 8-seed. They were kind of slighted by the committee. They were pretty well underseeded, and to put them, an 8-seed that was really playing more like a 4-5 seed at the time, and to put them on the Wichita State side for that second round meeting. I remember that was some controversy there at the time. And looking back, obviously Kentucky makes it all the way to the championship game. So, it's pretty easy to imagine, if Wichita State wins that game, maybe they make a championship run as well. But, it's definitely one of those things you look back on. It's like, man, what if, just a lot of questions like that. I'm sure, the players that were involved, the coaches, they like to, they probably think back on just like, man, what could have been, with that season. It was so special leading up to that. And just a heartbreaking end.
All right, Taylor. Well, back to the current edition of the Wichita State Shockers. Still awaiting a non-conference schedule release, but I think we're going to be waiting a little while longer as we continue to see contracts be signed, just waiting for the ink to dry. You've been doing your due diligence, trying to figure out what games are on the schedule, including those that were already on the schedule that might get changed. You're working hard on trying to figure out what's going to take place for this men's basketball non-conference schedule. So I don't know if it's official news yet for Wichita State and Drake, but I know you've been trying to figure out what things are looking like. So any news on the non-conference scheduling part for Wichita State men's basketball for this year?
Yeah, they haven't put that out yet officially, but everyone that I've talked to on both sides have said that, WSU Drake in Kansas City, that game is off. I think it had something to do with that Kentucky game last week. Still trying to connect the dots officially there, but I think Kentucky might have helped WSU get out of that game so they could come to Rupp. That's not official yet. It's not out there, but from everything I've been told, WSU Drake in Kansas City no longer going to happen in December. And I think Drake has already found a replacement game for that. I've been told they're going to play Davidson. So, they've moved on, WSU's moved on. So that leaves WSU with 3 open spots, kind of where they were before the Kentucky announcement. And with that one, I expect WSU will probably fill out the rest of the schedule with just 5 games at Koch Arena. And, I think that's it for the headliner games. I don't think they're going to add another challenge or whatever you want to call it game. So I would expect the last 3 will be filled out. Just, games like Austin Peay, Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, opponents like that at Koch Arena. So, they should have it finished up, I'd imagine pretty soon. I would think that they would put that out at the end of August, but at this point, maybe they just wait till the middle of September for the conference to finalize their schedule, and they put out the whole thing all at once. We'll see, but I think that the non-conference should be finalized here soon. But just the Kentucky one, that was kind of the last of the fireworks. I think the rest of it, it's just going to be kind of ho-hum games at Koch Arena.
Yeah. And maybe that's the approach for Paul Mills and really just Wichita State athletics in general. If you know that the conference schedule is set to be released anyways in the middle of September, now who knows, that could change as well. It feels like those conference schedules get released later and later and later each year, with college basketball season starting earlier and earlier every single year. If you know that the remaining 3 to 4 games are going to be home games or going to be bye games, maybe you're probably not rushing to try to get a schedule out that way. Tuesday with Taylor Aldridge from the Wichita Eagle here on the Pulse and ESPN Wichita on 92.3 FM. I saw that you tweeted about Reese Alston, a 5-star recruit. Doesn't mean that this is any indicator of him committing to Wichita State, but he was seen donning a Wichita State shirt, which I would think is encouraging, I suppose, at this stage for Wichita State. The fact that the Shockers are still in the hunt, is that still considered a win here for Paul Mills and the coaching staff?
Yeah, it was interesting to see him, working out and posting videos of him in the Wichita State gear. So, yeah, I mean, it's encouraging. Follows everything that I've been hearing is that they're still in the mix. Obviously it's a very heavily contested. They're going after. These are all blue blood programs that are hot in the trail after him. And Wichita State, even though they have that relationship with PJ Cousinard. And, I think Paul Mills has definitely made this a priority. But still, they're not going to have the same money that some of these other programs are going to be able to throw at him. They have other things they can offer, those relationships, the ability to come in and, be a true superstar and a chance to, maybe turn, really take WSU to another level. But it's going to be really, really tough for WSU to land this one. It is encouraging, though, that they're, still in the mix, this late in the game for a 5-star prospect. That's never really happened before in the modern era for WSU to be in the mix for a 5-star. And, I think Dawson Battie, I think they're in the mix for him as well. Dylan Battie's younger brother. I know that family really loves Paul Mills, loves what WSU is doing with Dylan. And that's another 5-star guy in 2027. So wouldn't surprise me if he takes an official visit here this fall semester. And, WSU, they have a chance to really turn this thing into something special, if they're able to land one or both. We're having a whole different conversation. But obviously it's a pretty big difference from just being involved to actually winning the recruiting battle. So still a ways to go there. I'm hoping to catch up with Reese sometime this week and maybe put out a update on his recruiting. But I think it's down to about just the last 5 schools, and Wichita State's one of those 5.
Hey, you'll take it. Well, who's the highest rated recruit in Wichita State history?
Yeah, you'd have to look at the modern era.
Yeah.
It probably would have been probably Landry, I think, at the end.
Yeah.
I think he really got boosted. But, if you're looking all time, if you go back to, the Carr and Valentine,
Yeah,
and,
right.
the 80s and 70s, those guys were all Americans. They
Right.
would have been, top 15, probably recruits in the country. Those are big time guys. So, I would think, Xavier McDaniel, he's probably another 5-star, but they didn't really have that stuff back then. But I think, in the modern era, I think it was Landry. I know Tyson Etienne got steamed up at the end. Obviously, Fred Van Fleet took a pretty big jump at the very end of his senior year. But they've never really been in the mix for like a top 50 guy.
Yeah. Well, it just got me thinking, if you go way back in the day to the 80s and so on and so forth, you're not going to get those ratings. So it's kind of, in some ways, it's kind of a moot point. But in today's day and age, though, where you have such a difference level between Power 4 schools and non-Power 4s, and heck, maybe even SEC Big 10 versus Big 12 in ACC, once again, I'm just trying to hone in on the point where the fact that the Shockers are still in the mix, I like to think that is still an encouraging sign that you could potentially use. Now, at the end of the day, I guess it doesn't matter, right? At the end of the day, it's either did you land the guy or did you not? But if you have that type of relationship where things are going great, they go somewhere else, it doesn't pan out for whatever reason, they're looking for a new home. Well, if Paul Mills is still in close connections with these guys, and there's always an opportunity, maybe a transfer could take place in the future. Anyways, don't want to continue going down that rabbit hole. I wanted to ask you about this past weekend, a huge debut for Brock Rodden for Wichita State baseball. A cool story, who was originally drafted by the A's, decided to pass on the opportunity, came back to play at Wichita State, ends up ending up in the Mariners organization, and he has just slowly but surely climbed at the ladder, and here he is now at the Major League Baseball level, playing for the Seattle Mariners. Got himself 3 hits in the series against the Houston Astros. Couple of extra baggers. He struck out 6 times out of 10 ABs, but he was able to walk 3 times. Got a couple of doubles. That's a pretty nice story for Wichita State baseball, and to see something else to go with Peyton Tolley. I'm sure Shocker fans will look back at the last couple of years and realize that the type of talent that was able to come through Wichita at some point. Your thoughts on Brock Rod and being able to go up to the show and be a part of the Mariners?
Yeah, I probably felt like a long time waiting for him because he's been mashing at the minor league level. He's had a really good career and, just kind of stuck behind the guys at the major league level for the Mariners. And, obviously they want him playing. So, he was kind of stuck at AA, then AAA this year, and was putting up real good numbers, real good power numbers. And, just really cool because, this is a guy that, 5'7", undersized, came from a really small town in Oklahoma, Durant. And he was just like really, overlooked, had to go the JUCO route coming out of high school, came to WSU, had a really good year, gets drafted, says, I'm going to come back. I'm going to bet on myself and, put up even better numbers in 2023 and, really help Scooter Hibbs and that weird interim season where they had some success and, Scooter gets coach of the year. And it was just such a strange season. And, Brock Rodden was a huge part of, keeping that team together and for them to have that kind of success. I think he deserves a lot of credit and, comes back, puts up even better numbers, gets drafted in the 5th round. So ends up really improving his draft stock and has had a really good minor league career and now finally gets a shot in the majors. He had almost had a storybook ending that very first night, his debut night. He had the go-ahead RBI, where I think he tied it and then he scored the go-ahead run. But, he came through in the clutch and then the Mariners blow it in the bottom of the inning. So kind of spoiled that storybook ending for his debut, but still a really cool moment to see him at the majors and had some success. And, with the injury to Colt Emerson, the shortstop, I think Brock Rodden's going to have a serious chance to finish out this season playing every day for the Mariners. They've had a disappointing season to date, but I think they're still pushing to try to, get one of those wild card spots. So we'll see. And I think Brock Rodden, he might be an everyday guy for them the rest of the year now.
Yeah, we have one guy that you know of from Tinker Barbecue. He's a big Mariners fan, so I know he's extremely happy seeing the success for Brock Rodden. So he's pretty stoked about him getting the call up there. All right, Taylor, appreciate the time as always. I'll let you go, but before too long, we got volleyball to talk about here before too long, which is kind of fun, I suppose, for Wichita State, because I always forget just how early volleyball really kicks off at Wichita State, really just college, just in general. But we're just around the corner from the first game, which is coming up in 10 days when Wichita State has the Shocker Volleyball Classic. So we'll actually have some more stuff to preview next week. I'm sure you'll get the open request for the contract for the Kentucky game. I'm sure that'll be in. So a lot of stuff to recap next week. But until then, you enjoy the rest of the week, man, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
All right. Thanks so much.
All right. Taylor Eldridge from the Wichita Eagle here on the Pulse. Coming up next, some news involving the Kansas City Royals. We'll do a Take Two Tuesday. Plus, we have some Kansas State Fair tickets to hand out as well. Your text messages are always welcome at 316-666-2285. And now the group that I'm with for this 14-team Superflex PPR league, they have found the text line number. They have sent in a few different messages in terms of who I should select. It is officially my turn in this lovely draft. I go back to back. 20 quarterbacks have been selected already. And one guy, and I tend to agree with him, was like, hey, you should go with Kyron Williams and Zay Flowers, which I would agree, but I only need to start one running back, and I still need a flex in a super flex. So quarterbacks are at a premium. I feel like some have already reached in the quarterback world. Just to give you an idea, Bo Nix, Sam Darnold, Brock Purdy, those guys have been selected already. So I have a feeling I need to reach a little bit. But if you have input, let me know. 316-666-2285. You have until the end of the show to give me your thoughts on who I should select. It is round 4, so just do the math. Probably not the cream of the crop that is going to be available. But let me know what you think. And then that way I can say, hey, these next 2 picks were decided by the listeners. It wasn't me. And then that way you can be a part of my Dynasty League forever. How about that? 316-666-2285. When we return, some news out of Kansas City involving the Kansas City Royals. There was a certain individual who was talked about during the Shane Dennis show. Well, we get to talk about him again. This time, though, not exactly good news for him, I suppose. That's coming up next here on The Pulse on ESPN Wichita.
The heartbeat of Wichita sports fans. The Pulse on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
What's up, Wichita? Hey, we got a little bit of rain not too long ago. That was good, but we didn't get hit with a bunch of hail, which is a good thing. I don't want to say I'm wishing for that. It's a good thing that we didn't get hit by hail. But I tell you, there's still an opportunity to where severe weather is going to happen in Kansas. Could happen later on this month. It could happen in September. Just know that when your house gets hit by hail, there is one name that you need to know. When my house was hit by the massive hailstorm last summer, I called Eaton Roofing and Exteriors. My roof took significant damage. So did my siding. So did my pergola. I had multiple things that needed to be replaced. The roof on top of my shop, whew, it was in shambles. That's just the best way to describe it. That's why I called Eaton Roofing and Exteriors, because they specialize in roof repairs, full roof replacements, but they also do siding, gutters, and complete exterior upgrades. And they don't just show up. They show up on time, they communicate clearly, and they treat your home like it's their own. What really sets them apart? Honest inspections and straightforward pricing. They were so helpful in this process. It's the first time that I've ever owned a home. It's the first time that my home went through something like this. They helped me with every step of the way, and they were honest about every step. No high-pressure sales tactics, just experienced professionals helping you and me make the best decision for your home and your budget. So don't wait until a small issue becomes a major problem. Protect your home. Protect your investment. Call Eaton Roofing and Exteriors today for your free inspection and estimate. Quality work, trusted service, done right the first time. Eaton Roofing and Exteriors, here for the life of your home.
It's almost time to draft your team and kick off another season. This year, take your fantasy football draft party to Twin Peaks, where cold drinks made from scratch food and wall-to-wall TVs make your local lodge the ultimate draft day headquarters. Round up your league, grab a table, and get ready for the picks, the rivalries, and a full season of bragging rights. Whether you're defending your title or drafting for the first time, start your fantasy season at Twin Peaks. Book your fantasy football draft party at your local lodge today.
Every day is a great day at the Fairfield Inn & Suites, Wichita downtown. With over 1,000 Fairfields worldwide, they rank in the top 20% for cleanliness and service. Located at Kellogg and Main in the Waterwalk District, they are centrally located. Providing exceptional service is their thing. And make sure to enjoy a hot breakfast buffet with every stay. Let them be your home away from home. Fairfield Inn & Suites, Wichita downtown by Marriott. Wichita's hidden gem.
We ride to clear our heads, to feel the road beneath us. It's not just a hobby, it's a part of who we are. We also know how quickly things can change. One careless driver and life looks different. At Prochaska Law, we're not just lawyers. We are riders too. We understand what you're facing, and we'll ride with you every step of the way. This month, give riders the space and the respect we all deserve.
do winners play at Seven Plans Casinos? The numbers don't lie. From Wichita to Texas, Seven Plans has the only certified loose casino, as verified by Strictly Slots Magazine. That's why winners play here. Plus, use your Seven Plans rewards card for even more perks and offers. It's official. Seven Plans Casinos have the area's only certified loose slots.
Wichita's home for the Dallas Cowboys. ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
3rd and goal from the 5. Dak from the gun. Drops back, flushed out. He's going to run left. And Dak Prescott waltzes in for the Cowboys touchdown.
Dallas Cowboys football can be heard right here. Go Cowboys.
Wichita's 100,000-watt powerhouse. ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.
Well, you just heard a commercial just moments ago from our friends at Twin Peaks. Fantasy football is here. And if I need to give you proof, I think I have the entire, well, maybe not the entire league in which I'm currently drafting in right now. I don't think I have the entire league listening to the show, but they are very much paying close attention because they know that the listeners are going to decide my next 2 picks. So, job well done. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for being here on this wonderful Tuesday. I was just kidding around, but no, they're actually tuning in, which is fun. Pete, who is a diehard Packers fan, is telling me to go with J.J. McCarthy. I don't know why he's telling me that. Diehard Packers fan, though, that Pete Knutson. Isn't that true, Pete? Diehard Packers fan? I know you are, deep down inside. Diehard Packers fan. Well, hey, Twin Peaks, fantasy football, they go hand in hand. Twin Peaks, you hear me talk about them on a regular basis. Happy hour going on right now at the Lodge. You have 2 locations in Wichita. Twin Peaks West is at Ridge and Taft. Twin Peaks East is at 21st and Rock. Yes, they have the 29-degree man-sized drafts. You're not going to find a colder beer in town. They also have other items on their adventurous drink menu as well. They also have terrific food. The food is always amazing. I never have a bad meal at Twin Peaks. The atmosphere is always solid as well. But you heard the commercial just moments ago. Fantasy football draft parties. If you are wanting to do a fantasy football draft party, you should really consider Twin Peaks because they typically hook everyone up. They hook you up with a draft board. The commish gets himself a gift card for future use. You also have every single draft participant. They're all going to get some sort of a card to be used next time. Twin Peaks and fantasy football. It's a match made in heaven. So if you're thinking about fantasy football and you're wanting to do a fantasy football draft party, you might want to consider Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks eats, drinks, scenic views. Pete just said in the group, Pet has declared war officially. My man Spiro also chiming in too. KJHK, I'm glad Ashton on here, just saying I think you should forfeit your 5th round pick out of respect for Jaden Daniels. I like it, Ashton. Nice touch. Ashton currently involved with KJHK. Well, this is a group from KJHK. These are guys who I was able to work with back in the day for college sports radio. And the dude, Michael Spiro, he is the one who I had to talk to. He was the sports director when I was a freshman. And he was the one who was like, yeah, we do all these cool things. You get to broadcast courtside inside Allen Fieldhouse. Little did I know that would lead me into broadcasting KUMU, Border War. You have Thomas Robinson coming up with a legendary block. I can't hear myself. Just such an epic time. KJHK is a very special part of my life, and I'm glad that we're doing something like this. And Spiro just telling me you should go with Fernando Mendoza. We have a lot of Raiders fans on here, Spiro, who very much want me to go Mendoza. I don't know if I'm going to go that route or not, though. you already have some help. You already have Larson who's drafting for you. I wish I had a GM. I don't have a GM for my team. But hey, listeners, if you're listening right now, I'm in a 14-team Superflex league. Tight end, premium points. I have my QB. I have my running back. And I have a tight end. I still need a receiver and another quarterback for my Superflex. Zay Flowers, CJ Stroud. I can go over some of the options. 20 QBs have already been selected. So let me know who I should go with. 316-666-2285. Trace Woods is chiming in, and he's telling me to go Cyrus Allen or Kenyon Sadiq. I don't think I'm that desperate yet, Trace. Right now, the winner in the leader in the clubhouse has to be Kyron Williams and Zay Flowers. That's kind of what I'm leaning toward right now. But QB-wise, that Superflex is what's making this really, really difficult. But here's the thing. I get 4 hours to pick. So I got to take my sweet time. So you have until the end of the show. Relay your thoughts to 316-666-2285. Well, the Kansas City Royals, they ended up winning yesterday, but I don't think that's really the story from yesterday, right? And maybe this is just a Royals fandom way of thinking of things, because typically you look to the negative and you go, wow, look at that. But the positive should be, hey, Vinny Pasquantino's back. Michael Garcia's back. They combined for 3 hits. Jack Caglione goes 3 for 5 with a couple of ribbies. Yeah, Bobby Witt Jr. getting himself a bomb in the game against the Athletics. Michael Wacha goes 5 innings. But what are we talking about here today is more so about Lucas Erceg, who couldn't even get an out. Guy goes out there, gives up a hit, gives up a run, couple of walks, did all that on 14 pitches. Only 6 of those were strikes. His ERA has now swelled to 6.23. And it's something that Jack and Shane were talking about during the Shane Dennis show. And it's something that needed to be touched on again. And that is, what do you do with Lucas Erceg looking ahead to 2027? What do you do with Lucas Erceg for the remainder of this year? Because it's clear that something is not right. Is it really an injury problem? Not really. Don't think it's an injury issue. Just more so confidence level has to just be at the very bottom of the barrel for him. He's 12 for 18 save attempts this season, but this was a guy who was tasked with being one of the heads of the bullpen. Now, there have been all sorts of issues with the Kansas City Royals this year. Bullpen is for sure at the top of the list. Just staying healthy is also a point of emphasis. The injuries didn't necessarily derail the season for the Royals, just more so it prohibited them from digging out of the hole, because they did not play well at the beginning of the year, which, spoiler alert, it's the Royals way. It's just the way that it goes. But Lucas Erceg goes out there, and it's not like it was a situation where there was, I mean, you throw him out there in that situation, try to, I don't know, I guess it's a high leverage situation in some cases, but not really, because he wasn't going out there to try and get himself you can go out there and get yourself not a win, because Michael Wacha went 5 innings, but you can go out there and do yourself wonders and just try to get yourself back on track. And you're trying to give Cruz a little bit of a break to where you don't have to use him. But Cruz ends up having to come out and goes an inning, and he gets the inning done. He goes out there, throws 8 pitches, 5 of them were strikes. He gets 3 outs, and boom, he ends up getting the save, in which it was a 9-5 win for the Kansas City Royals. But Lucas Erceg, as you continue to just look at him for this year, you just wonder, what do you do with him? Do you shut him down? Do you just make up an injury for him so that way he gets a chance to relax, put him on the 15-day IL? create a phantom injury so you don't have to worry about him? Do you just shut him down for the remainder of the year? The answer that we have is the Kansas City Royals have decided to send him down to AAA Omaha. We do get a chance to see Carlos Duran, one of those players that Kansas City went after when looking at trades. So they're bringing him up from AAA. So you'll get a look at him and see if he can be a reliable piece for the 2027 bullpen. But for Lucas Erceg, he goes down to the AAA level. And you hope that this is a way for him to restart things, get himself back on track, and maybe the number one thing is just get his mind right. And sometimes that's what can happen when you go from the pros, from the Major League Baseball level, down to the AAA level. Get a chance to face some different bats, go out there and mow down people, overpower people, get your confidence back up, and then hopefully you get a chance to rejoin the Royals by the end of the season. I wonder how long he'll be down in AAA Omaha, because here's the other reality too. Let's say Carlos Duran comes up and gets shelled, doesn't do very well. Then the Royals might be tempted to go, well, let's bring Lucas Erceg back up. But I don't know. You might want to make the argument of, for the remainder of the year, knowing that this season is a lost cause, and you want Lucas Erceg to get back on track, maybe this is an opportunity for him to be at the AAA level for an extended period of time. I don't know how long that would be, but maybe the best decision is to send him down and have him be down there for a long time. But we know what the Royals are doing with him, at least for the short-term future. It could be long-term in terms of the rest of the year. But we know what they're doing as of right now, and that is Lucas Erceg going down to AAA Omaha. I know some people are like, you should just DFA'd him. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily go that far. Do this first and then see what might happen for Lucas Erceg. Go this direction and try to get him back on track and get that confidence. Because I think it's more so confidence than anything else right now for Lucas Erceg. Because nothing is really going right for him. Move him down. Give him a chance to get that confidence back. Have him mow down all these people. Now, here's the thing. If he goes down there and does poorly, then that opens up a whole new door filled with possibilities. But Lucas Erceg is a piece that is needed in 2027. As much as we focus on starting pitching and looking at other bats, the bullpen is a complete dumpster fire. If Lucas Erceg can go back to maybe just being, I don't know, a fraction of maybe of what he was in 2024, is that all sorts of fair, I guess? You want the full-on Lucas Erceg, I get it. But maybe if you just get half of what Lucas Erceg was in 2024, would that be good enough for the Royals in 2027? I'm just trying to spitball here and just trying to think of a world where Lucas Erceg can be a useful piece in the 2027 campaign. Jack, the Royals send down Lucas Erceg to AAA Omaha. I know you and Shane were discussing Lucas Erceg and trying to figure out, I guess, what the next steps are. But it's a shame, though, for the Royals, because after yesterday, you have Jack Caglione doing his thing. You see Vinny Pasquantino, Michael Garcia back. And then you are sitting here after the game, instead of talking about a win, 9-5, it's more so the attention goes back to, and what's wrong with Lucas Erceg, which has been a question that we've been throwing out there for a while now. There was that period where he was shelled a little bit. It was back-to-back games. I believe one of them was against the Yankees, but he went out in a low-leverage situation to just try to get some work, and he got dinged up. He got hit pretty well, but that's fine. It happens. You come out, you just got to get some work in to make sure that you're staying locked in, and then the next game, you say him ended up getting shelled, and then after that, it's like, all right, well, maybe there is a legit concern with Lucas Erceg, and ever since then, you've seen that ERA only continue to rise rather than decrease. So what do you think of the Royals deciding to go ahead and take him and send him down to AAA Omaha? Right move. How long will Lucas Ursig be down there? I turn to you, Mr. Jack Johnson, Mr. Royals insider.
Yeah, I mean, I'd imagine he'll only be down there a couple weeks. You got the September call-ups coming up here in 2 to 3 weeks, and that's likely the move they're going to make just because you don't have to have a 40-man roster move, and the reality is there's nobody else good enough that would be taking that spot. Now, if he goes down there and he's shelled and nothing's getting better, then maybe they do pivot to somebody else. But it kind of strikes me as this, it's not working right now in Kansas City. It's not working in lower leverage. It's not working in higher leverage. Just take some pressure off his shoulders. Go down to AAA Omaha where there's not going to be a lot of eyeballs. You're not going to be televised, and other than the minor league baseball app, of course. But you're going to go down there, and then it's going to be a confidence-building situation where you go and maybe have a couple of good outings in a row. Your fastball still runs it up at 98, 99. You've got a slider that maybe you work on some mechanical things with. I know he had just started throwing a cutter, so maybe you try that out a bit more. And you stay out of the spotlight because right now in Kansas City, he's been one of those spotlighted bullpen guys since Matt Strahm was DFA'd because he was next in line of he's not pitching well, and you expected a lot more out of him this season. And I'm not sure if last night was kind of like the focus because he's been bad for 3 months now.
Sure.
Right? So every time he's taken the ball, there's been little to no confidence that he was going to get the job done. And you can only run him out there so many times with the hopes that he does turn things around, and it wasn't happening. And clearly with the velocity sitting at 98, 99, you can't put him on the IL without it being so blatantly obvious that you're doing it just to make a roster move, right? You put him on there with elbow soreness or arm fatigue. Doesn't really make sense. He's throwing 98 to 99. You can't do that with a knee strain or a neck strain. You're still running it up at 98 to 99. That's hard to do if you have a legitimate injury. He's got minor league options, and unfortunately, that's the path they needed to go with. And you bring up a high-powered arm, one you acquired at the trade deadline, and he's now got an opportunity. He probably slides into the role that Lucas Ursig had where, yeah, he might get the 7th inning or the 6th inning in a one-run game from time to time, but he'll probably start out in lower leverage just because he's never been that high-leverage guy at the big league level. But now's a good a time as ever. You might as well try a lot of these dart throws and see if they can give you some depth going in the next year. And for Lucas Ursig, look, if he doesn't pitch well in Omaha, there's no guarantee he's back next year. You might need to go and try to upgrade that spot in the bullpen and stop trying to wish and hope that the 2024-2025 version will come back to that bullpen.
Yeah, the wishing and hoping part. No one likes talking about that. The wishing and hoping aspect. Yeah, we wish and hope things are good. We're going to hope that he gets back on track, but you need to get him right. And I think this is the step in the right direction. Try to get him right. You would hope that he goes to Omaha and he looks at things, and I don't think it's necessarily the humbling experience that he needs. I don't think it's necessarily that. Although I guess we can talk more with Dave Oleski. Maybe he's got some inside information about Lucas Ursig in the clubhouse. I doubt that's the case. But it's something that we've talked about before is Jack Caglione. The Royals were interested to see how well he does just handling things from a mental perspective, being willing to handle the lows as well as going with the highs. And right now he's certainly on a tear, and things are looking good for Jack Caglione. Lucas Ursig's one of those guys that you hope goes down. He has immediate success, whatever that might look like, but he ends up going down there and gets shelled right away. Then there's some legit things that need to be changed. What does that look like? Only time will tell. 316-666-2285. That's the text line number. Feel free to hit us up. We'd love to get your thoughts for today. Coming up next, we'll do a Take Two Tuesday. But right now, I want to give you a chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to go and see the Kansas State Fair. Text the word FAIR to 316-666-2285. Text the word FAIR to 316-666-2285 to get a family 4-pack of tickets to go and catch the Kansas State Fair, which is going to be here before you know it in Hutchinson. We're going to be out there on Friday, September 18, because you Chiefs fans, we know that you love supporting the Chiefs. You love Red Friday. Well, you can wear your red and celebrate Kansas Lottery's Chiefs Red Friday on Friday, September 18. Show your Play On app at the gate and get in for only $5. If you're not a Play On app member, it is super simple to join. Join for free at kslottery.com to get in on the deal. They have some other great deals as well. We'll tell you more about that as we get a little bit closer to the Kansas State Fair. But right now, if you want to go, I have 4 GA tickets to the Kansas State Fair. Text the word FAIR to 316-666-2285. We'll wrap up the show when we return.
This is
Bye, Reed.
The Pulse.
Thank you.
On Wichita's new sports leader, ESPN Wichita, 92.3 FM.
What's up, Wichita? Another thing to tell you about. It's hot out there, 102 degrees. It's not ideal, but a great way to cool off is by getting you some Blind Lemon Hard Lemonade. It is the official hard lemonade of the summer, and it's brewed by our friends at Monster Brewing Company. Yes, there's a little bit of sweetness, not overpowering, though. I've had plenty of them. It's nothing too crazy. There's still enough of a punch there that makes you feel like, hey, I'm actually drinking some alcohol here. But the best part is it's refreshing, because when it is hot outside or you're standing by the grill and you're sweating it out, the best drink to have by your side is Blind Lemon Hard Lemonade. They have all sorts of flavors. They have the original lemonade. They have peach. They have strawberry. They have cherry. They got it all. Check out our friends at Blind Lemon Hard Lemonade, brewed by Monster Brewing Company.
Adopt a School is collecting school supplies now through August 31st. Help us support local teachers and classrooms. We are looking for backpacks, Clorox wipes, Kleenex, dry erase markers, glue sticks, binders, and more. Visit adoptaschool.com for a full list. Every donation, big or small, helps students start the school year with the tools they need to learn and succeed. Your donations make a difference for everyone in our community. Items can be dropped off at Rusty Eck Ford or Midwest Kia. Thank you for helping us make a positive impact this school year.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here it's bigger game days and UFC fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hi, this is Blake Davis with Davis Liquor Outlet, and this is Brian Davis with a special on Busch Light 30 packs, only $26.99. Or grab good old Jim Beam White 1.75 liters, just $30.99. Davis Liquor Outlet, each store independently owned and operated. Wichita owned, Wichita proud.
Susan, it's so great to finally be able to get together again.
Oh, it sure is. And I really appreciate you picking up the bill.
I'm happy to. I've got the extra cash. Since we've all been driving so much more again, I've been using Get Upside, the free gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Get Upside app?
Yes, up to 25 cents a gallon. Cash back every time I buy gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Some months I make $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Get Upside app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code MOVE for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents a gallon on your next fill up. You can cash out anytime to PayPal or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code MOVE for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code MOVE.
Furnished by IntelliBrands. Whether because of discomfort, lack of mobility, your lifestyle, or occupation, you sit inactively way too many hours a day. Get an Ellipse, the premium quality automatic seated exerciser that strengthens legs, increases mobility, and boosts circulation without physical strain or impact. Improve your flexibility and balance, strengthen and tone your legs.
My joints feel better, my knees feel better, my back feels better, and it makes me feel stronger too.
My circulation is moving. I'm burning calories, and it makes me feel energetic.
It's so quiet that none of my coworkers even know I'm using it.
Call now and order Ellipse, the seated exerciser that strengthens legs, increases mobility, and boosts circulation. And for a limited time, get a free upgrade to our deluxe bundle with a faster motor, sport mat, and wireless remote. Call 800-555-1212. That's 800-555-1212. 800-555-1212 now. These statements and products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
All right, we are almost done. Real quick, burnt end of the hour trivia question brought to you by Tanker Barbecue. Question and answer, Mr. Jack Johnson.
Question was, since 2000, and that includes the 2000 season, how many double-digit win years did the Kansas State Wildcats have? The correct answer was 6. They had one in 2000 where they went 11-3, 2002 where they went 11-2, 2003 when they went 11-4. They also had one in 2011 where they went 10-3. They went 11-2 the following year in 2012. And then, of course, when they won the Big 12 in 2022, they went 10-4.
Good stuff. All right. Instead of Jack picking a topic for a Take Two Tuesday, we have 3 minutes left. Time to weigh in, listeners. It's your final chance to tell me who to pick in the 14-team Superflex league that I'm in for Dynasty with my buddies from KJHK. 316-666-2285. I have selected Josh Allen, a Marion Hampton, and a Colston Loveland at this point. I can only start one running back, one quarterback, one tight end, but that Superflex is what I'm most concerned with right now because 20 quarterbacks have been selected. In terms of some individuals that are out there, you have Trey Henderson, Carnell Tate, Zay Flowers, Bucky Irving, Kyron Williams, Rome Udenzi, but I don't want to go with him, Cam Scattaboo, Sam Laporta, Fernando Mendoza is available. There you go, Raiders fans. Should I go with the rookie? I do have to have 3 rookies. That is a thing, but I know he's not going to start at the beginning of the season. It's going to be Kirk Cousins. 316-666-2285. I still need a flex, a super flex, and a wide receiver. I'm thinking Zay Flowers for sure. The dilemma that I have is what do I do with the quarterback? Here are the QBs available, and I still need a second quarterback. Mendoza, Cam Ward, C.J. Stroud, Kyler Murray, Bryce Young, Malik Willis, Daniel Jones, Ty Simpson, Jacoby Brissett. You get what I'm throwing out here, texters or listeners? That's why I'm like, do I reach for a QB in order to figure out that super flex spot? Right now, I think the leader in the clubhouse is Zay Flowers and Kyron Williams. 316-666-2285. Someone says, don't worry about a quarterback. Even in a super flex? Even in a super flex league? Because here's the thing. There are still individuals who got to get a second QB. There is one team, and Scott Pellin, who's a diehard Nebraska fan, Scott Pellin doesn't have a single individual who plays quarterback right now, so he's probably going to double up. You have 2 minutes to decide. 316-666-2285. That's right. I'm going to let y'all figure out who I need to select. Well, I will tell you, Zay Flowers is the number one answer I'm getting. So Zay Flowers, boom. There's one. Jake Bates and Jake Moody. You're funny, Lars. By the way, he's the one who decided, hey, you know, it'd be fun. A 14-team dynasty. You know what would have been worse? The original plan was an 18-team super flex dynasty league. 18 teams. Insane. Say Jacoby Brissett. Y'all are funny. LOL. You got a minute left, y'all. 316-666-2285. I mean, I guess Kyron Williams, but see, like, it just doesn't really get the blood flowing because this is a dynasty league too. I guess he's going to have a good year this year. I guess running backs, you only need them for a year. But this is the fun aspect. There's the music. Well, fun stuff. Get in your last minute suggestions and I'll get it in before 4 o'clock. 316-666-2285. All right, we're done for the day. Thank y'all for helping out, I suppose. I wanted to open it up to y'all. It was a challenge for my guys at KJHK going, I expect you to make the pick live on air. Well, you got a pick. Now just waiting for the rest of the text messages to roll in so I can figure out the second one. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for interacting. Matt Derrick, Dave Valesky, they'll be a part of the show tomorrow. Hope you can join us. For producer Jack Johnson, I'm Pat Strathman saying so long, Wichita. See you tomorrow at 2 o'clock.